pancakes. Making pancakes. But you know, 445. Making pancakes, making pancakes.
What's up, everyone? This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and this is going to be the real episode 130 of GG's The Mouthful podcast.
Of that 90s show, the Mouthful podcast. GG!
That's right. We are 90s, although I prefer 80s, but
I
we'll
like
do
90s.
the 90s. We'll do the 90s.
I like 90s. Yeah. I understand.
We'll do some gangster rap up in here.
There you go. Exactly. Exactly. We gotta gangster it up.
That's right. That voice, of course, is Mr. Dream Twister himself, David Santos. What is up, sir?
Also known as DJ Mankiewicz. In the on the ones and twos.
On the ones and twos. Thank you so much, sir. If this is your first time listening, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please go to goodgame.tech. Join the conversation there.
It started to sound like a plea, like, please,
Please.
we beg you, please.
Just stop there once.
We'll
Hit
make,
subscribe.
and Mad Dog will do anything.
I will dance a jig.
There you go. He will get jiggy with it.
There you go. We're sticking to the 90s. I like that. Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
We love the night. Pop-up video.
Oh, pop-up video was good.
Wait.
VH1 pop-up video,
Was
right?
people what?
Pop-up
Yeah.
video.
Was that? I thought that was 80s. No, okay.
I think it was early 90s.
Yeah, it was early 90s. The
Because they had like
technology,
Sinead O'Connor up in there.
that's
and stuff
right.
like that.
The technology to render the bubbles was not designed
Correct,
yet.
yeah. TV wasn't ready for that in the 80s.
No, not yet. Pop video.
Pop-up video. So, guys, also, after you join the conversation over at goodgame.tech, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this podcast with everybody. Hit the bell if you're on YouTube. Anywhere else? I don't know. Just
I don't know.
subscribe somehow. Yeah, exactly. Sir, excuse me. Oof, got a little gas.
Yeah, me
from this,
too.
huh?
Suddenly, it's this.
You didn't pour this beer right, sir.
No, I did not pour yours
Just-
right.
I'm just saying.
I poured mine to perfection, but yeah, I know. I since have learned to properly do the bubbles.
Yeah.
You always want to have the foam.
You gotta have a little
on the
foam.
beers.
Yes.
Actually, the video that I saw, recently, it shows a guy doing a lot of bubbles, and it makes me wonder, like, is that the way? Whenever you see commercials for beer, it usually is very foamy,
Yes, and it usually pours over.
and to where it pulls over,
exactly.
yeah,
Because that's how
but you don't want it
supposed
to pour over
beer.
because that would be messy.
It is also wasteful. Yeah.
And it's always full. You don't want to waste
Foam
the
is
bubbles.
still technically beer. It's just happier than the rest of the beer. Oh, man. So, guys,
right.
what we normally do is first we start with what we have been up to. Then we go into some news items, and we finally finish with our hot topic. This week's hot topic is the evolution of horror movies.
Oh, we have
Our part one of two.
Oh, shoot. Really? This is going to continue?
Well, it's next week it'll be gaming, sir. Come on.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
A little
get the movie-
tease over
yeah,
there.
you like that.
We should have left that for the end credits.
Okay, so I'll cut
for
that
the
shit out from
for
here.
the after credits. No, but that's good. Yeah, a spooktacular show.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
sir. Somebody had to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. So we're going to start with what we have been up to,
we
and
have
I am
been
going to
up
start
to.
because I have a shitload of shit to get through, so I might as well get it all out of the way.
Get it out of the way, exactly.
Oh, man. So I'm going to start real quick. First off, as far as gaming goes, I'm still playing freaking Destiny 2. Fuck that
What?
game. Just-
How has this game taken so long?
I'm doing all the side quests, dude. I'm just
What?
like...
I thought I'm not liking this game, but I'm just gonna go ahead and grind all this shit that I don't really
figure
need to.
if I'm gonna do it, I might as well do it right. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm like,
if you were doing it right, you would be playing Forsaken. instead.
no, fuck, I'm not paying for that shit. No, that's not happening.
What if you get it for? We'll talk later.
Oh, 2 years from now through PlayStation Plus. 2 years? Okay, I can wait.
It might Santa Claus might bring a little stuff.
Oh snap! I don't know if I'll have space in my hard drive. Let me let you know, because I have
You'll be wanting
Red
out.
Dead Redemption pre-ordered.
Oh, that's
and-
right. We're playing that right now for review. We're under embargo. We can't say
Dude,
anything.
it comes out on Friday. What is it with this Friday release bullshit?
Friday is the new Thursday.
No,
it's the new Tuesday.
No, it's not. Friday is for movies.
Friday is, well, I think the whole point of a Tuesday release. I don't know if you know this, but I did some research.
I remember seeing something on it, but go ahead.
The whole thing about this Tuesday release was the fact that it had to do with shipping of CDs.
Okay.
You know how games needed to be pressed on DVDs and movies and all that. So because movies were already being pressed around the same time to have everything in one shipment.
Movies to DVD or Blu-ray, they still come
Blu-ray.
out on Tuesday. Yeah.
Right. So that was the whole thing. But now that games are still pressed on CDs and DVDs and all that.
Future, no.
But digital future, I think that's what's making the change. Also, a lot of companies are like enticing people to pre-order now, and you get to play early.
I don't know if this is one of them. I'm gonna tell you right now. I didn't even look. I was like, nah. I'm not
Assassin's Creed Odyssey was one of them.
It was,
but you had to pay. You literally had to pay $120 for that, and I was like, "That's bullshit."
I don't think it was just for playing it. It was like you
get some more stuff. Yeah. You obviously, but one of the perks was that. So I mean, and I'm not one to talk. I did it with the Forza Horizon. I mean, I am a big fan of the series, but still, it still doesn't take away the fact that I think it's bullshit. I don't think it is definitely bullshit.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
But of course, people buy into it. So what do we know?
And besides, my computer broke around the time that I was on that Friday. I couldn't even play it.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I want to get through two series. First off, I finally finished Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm just gonna quickly finish. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
There's a new season.
You're caught up.
I'm caught up. Yeah. However, there's a new season coming out this June. As you know, this June will be after the Infinity War ends. And the show has kind of been, kind of going in and out between the films and all that. This season felt like the end. Like they literally made it to feel like the end. And I found out why. The show was set to cancel this scene. Like this was going to be their last season. It was not picked up for a new one. So they started making, the season with the intent to end the series. And it has a solid ending for the series. And I'm like, this is amazing. I'm like, this show is really, really good. It's done what it has to do. Now to know that there's another season coming. I'm like, but wait a minute. Don't undo the shit you did here. Because there are big moments that are good for the show and everything. But if you just go and undo them, it's like,
it's just gonna be. They're gonna Bioshock it to where it gets to the end, and then it just keeps on going after it shouldn't have continued.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, let's just say that there are certain things that are pretty definite. Like let's just say, look, some people don't make it. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, if they don't make it, it is what it is. The show was ending anyway. Thanos was literally there at that moment towards the end. So
wait, on the series?
Yeah.
What? Wait, what?
Well, you don't see Thanos just yet.
No,
but
of course
I'm saying,
not, yeah.
But
they don't have the budget for it.
They don't have the budget to
but
make
they mention it.
Yeah. So they do mention it, and they also like a whole thing happens in this city, which was weird to me because I was like, okay, it's Chicago. Like this big attack happens in Chicago in the series, which you never see in the movie. Why? Because the movie's dealing with the shit that's happening in New York. So
at the same time, is it meant to be at the same time?
Correct, exactly.
Okay, all right. So that's smart. I can give him that.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah. It's like because what happens in Chicago, I'm just like, where are the Avengers, guys? The Avengers would be here for this.
Exactly, yeah.
Clearly, if you know what happened in Infinity War, they're not around at the moment, so they're dealing with other stuff.
They're a little busy right now. If you guys don't know, New York is a very important city. It's the one that
gets where they print money. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be the Avengers at every part of the world.
Exactly. And so they send the smaller Avengers, also known as the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., to handle the problem.
There you go.
But
the secondary cities.
So seriously, it felt like the end, dude. And it ended well, but then I was just a little bit bummed to find out that it's going to continue. And I'm like, they're gonna retcon a little bit of this stuff, and it's going to piss me off.
Retcon in this? You mean retcon?
Well, not retcon. Maybe that's the wrong way to say it. But they're going to undo some of the stuff they did. I'm pretty sure.
You got
We're talking about major people, and it's like, can the series exist without these major people?
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I finished that. I also watched the second half of, it was called La Casa de Papel, which is the House of Paper, essentially.
Yeah.
But they changed the name on Netflix to Money Heist because I guess that's more understandable for everybody.
Actually, I did see that post or that thing on Netflix.
It's good. It's a really good series.
Yeah.
So I mentioned because I've seen the first part before that it's basically it's a Spanish and I mean like from Spain. There it just takes place in Spain. Basically, there's a team of thieves that plan out a robbery of the mint or wherever they make money.
Like a heist of the mint.
Yes, exactly.
Right. They print money.
Where they print money, yeah. And so it's this elaborate scheme. Obviously, it takes place over 2 seasons. You know what I mean? And it's actually really, really good. My only issue with it is that the second part, they call it part 1, part 2, even though it's season 1, season 2. I don't know if they did it at the same time. And if they did it at the same time, then this really doesn't make sense. But it felt like they stretched more in that second season to fill in more episodes than they needed. And that kind of bummed me out a little bit.
It's kind of dragging.
They're just moments, and don't get me wrong, this is also a Spanish show, which is going to include love and emotion and stuff like that normally you don't see in a heist. You know, it's like people are literally just in the bank vault doing it. You know, they're like, what is this? This is the most ridiculous thing. You know, so but it's still fun. It's still pretty action packed. And I love the characters, and they're really good about it. But it ended up on a great note, you know. Even though it felt like it took too long to get to that point. But once I got to that point, I was like, oh, okay, this is a good payoff. So definitely recommend that. It's called Money Heist.
The Paper House or Money Heist.
Yeah,
the most generic title that we can give.
I was like Casa de Papel was. You could at least call it the House of Money or the House Made of Money or any of those things. You know what I mean? I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, they probably floated through like a marketing department, and they were like, "Yeah, Casa de Papel is not really hitting with the demographic that we're trying to go after. You know, how about we just call it what it is? You know,
it's a money heist.
Yeah, exactly. It's a robbery, and they're taking money, so." Money heist, sure, why not?
Be fair, warn our Spanish listeners. Just because you know Spanish, you may still need subtitles here.
Yeah, is that really thick Spanish?
And not only that, because we're dealing with, you know, shall we say, unsavory characters that, you know, are thieves and all that. There's a lot of slang involved where I'm like, ooh, I don't understand this slang at all. So I was like, Sure.
I'm sorry.
That sounds about the same.
I'm sorry, boss. What? Okay.
But no.
Ole tu madre, hijo.
It was pretty enjoyable.
Te tío cabrón. I'm sorry.
That's great. So the next thing I want to bring up, I'm a little bit disappointed. Actually, I'm a lot disappointed. It is the movie. I saw this movie. Sicario 2, sir.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
You finally saw it, huh?
I did see it, and
yikes.
Disappointment is probably... It's too nice of a word.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
I do recall seeing this movie and talk about it a little bit on it.
So first off, Sicario to me is one of the really good films out there, and everybody should see
original
that.
one.
The original, yes. It was done by Denis Villeneuve, the guy who did Blade Runner 2049.
Got you. Yes.
Yeah, the same guy. He did The Rival. He did a bunch of good stuff. So you can see the quality in the first one.
Yeah.
Second one, I don't really know who this person was, but there was very little like point.
Yeah.
You know, it's like every new thing they introduced or everything they had to have done, like nothing actually, by the time you get to the end, nothing actually happened.
Dude,
like every plan that they made to do something fell apart somehow, and you get to the credits and you have zero resolution on it. There's like 5 or 6 like storylines or things that are going on, and you get to the end and nothing's resolved.
Hey, this a little spoiler from the very beginning. Some terrorists come in and they bomb a Target or a Walmart or something like that. You know, a store that is meant to be like that. And then that's it. That's it. So the idea to go after these people is to go around and somehow create a narc war.
No.
in
So
Mexico? Like, what the fuck?
you could have easily gotten that from me because that's how clear it is. But what it actually is actually a lot worse.
A lot worse than that. Okay, so I made too much sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're trying to pull the lines
trying to
together.
put them together, yeah.
And those lines don't come
They
together.
don't even match.
So there is the bomb at the beginning, and there are evidently direct ties to how they got there. Were direct ties to the cartels.
So the cartels.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what it's. Oh, we have to mark the cartels as a terrorist organization. That's essentially what it is.
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
and immediately gets painted that this is bad for everyone because. How many dude? It was so funny. This one official that he speaks to is like, "Wait a minute." He doesn't say it like this, but he might as well say, "Wait a minute. They pay me money. You can't go after them." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously there's a lot of corruption, but the whole roundabout thing is that it turns out these guys who did this were from freaking New Jersey, dude. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So all this led to nothing.
Nothing.
What was the point of this? Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you what the point is. It's to set up the sequel because evidently there is a Sicario 3
Oh yeah.
that will be
definitely.
happening.
Yeah.
Because this one resolved nothing.
Nothing. No.
Nothing at all. This was a complete waste of
It just
2 hours.
literally left it at in almost like in the middle. Almost
That,
like
see, you know what? Of the a few movies that you claim do that, where I say no, that doesn't. This one definitely does that.
Yeah.
I will 100% back you on that because this one literally had 0 points.
Yeah.
I almost feel like just mentioned. So you have the terrorist thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Then you have to we're going to set up this thing to have the cartels, fight each other. What do? We're going to start a war. So let's kidnap this girl, you know what I mean? Who is the cartel's daughter. They do that.
Yeah.
They have to bring her over. That falls apart.
Yeah.
Then the whole, it looks like it's actually working at one point, but that falls apart. Oh no, we can't do that. And then this guy, she runs off. He gets stuck out in Mexico. He's going to save her. She'd save her. Don't worry. They're going to bring her over. No, we got to cut ties with them. That falls apart. You know what I'm saying? Then he tries to sneak her into US via the borders. That never happens. You know what I mean?
You know what? You're just not understanding the message that the director has been trying to portray here.
Yes.
This is a commentary on how
On Border Patrol.
idiotic, not only Border Patrol, but our whole military system, without disrespecting our soldiers, our good soldiers.
No.
I'm talking about
Boots on the ground are different, yeah.
boots on the ground are different. I'm talking about like the high-end
The
decisions
intelligence,
to do the intelligence, and all the way up. This thing goes all the way up.
Yes, it does go all the way up.
And this is, so in a way, it's kind of brilliant. A 10 out of 10.
No, it's not. Because the film is still adequately made. You know what I mean?
exactly.
It's not like poor editing.
No,
or like
exactly.
that.
No,
so
it's not.
So I would still give it like a 5. You know
There
what
you
I mean?
go. Yeah, I will almost get there if it wasn't for the fact that little girl was really annoying too. It's like, oh, okay, bitch, I can't. Something needs to happen in this movie.
Oh man, so Sicario 2 is a
Redbox
pass.
everywhere.
Yeah, just pass. I did see a lot of movies, guys.
You
I'm
actually
sorry.
have to wait. You have to watch it if you want to see the third one. I don't know if I'm enthused about the third Sicario.
Just watch the first one. The first one is a complete story.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, exactly.
There's
There you
no
go.
more.
There we go.
You don't need it.
Just like the
I'm
Matrix.
going to skip the third one.
Just like
I'm
the
not that
Matrix
curious.
sequels.
Sir.
Just like the Matrix.
We're not
Just like the Matrix
we're not
sequels,
opening that door
completely
again.
unnecessary. Yeah.
While I would definitely say they weren't needed. I wouldn't go that far.
There you go. Okay, I'll meet you there. I'll
Okay,
meet you right
there you
in
go.
the middle.
The next movie I saw, guys, is a movie called RBG.
RPG?
RB as in boy G. This I'm not going to spend much time on this because I can already tell this is not going to interest anyone. But
All
I
right.
feel like bringing it up is documentary.
It's your pre-break, guys. Take a venture.
Yeah,
Go to the
just
bathroom. if you
skip
need
over like 2 minutes here. This is a documentary for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which she is a Supreme one of the first women Supreme Justice. Of course, it's basically she's big on women's rights, and she's fought for all them, and she's actually really awesome. This is 80 year. The movie starts off. She's 80 something years old, very small, very frail, and she's out there working out with this big black dude. Because she has to work out, because she has to keep up her strength. She works like ridiculous hours.
Damn.
Really, really cool. There's a lot. You probably have seen something online where it says something like the notorious RBG, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. And that's who they're talking about. It's this little old lady with glasses.
I heard Notorious B.I.G. Am I close?
No.
Is that a movie about that? Does they cross paths?
Oh, there's a movie about that. It's called Notorious, but that's something else. Anyway, good. If you know who I'm talking about.
I wonder what they call her, Big Mama.
She's small. She would be a small mama. It's a small little mama. And then I saw it.
And then you saw it.
So Stephen King's the remake of Stephen King's It.
Woo! Put it there, buddy. There you go. Finally.
Yes. By a recommendation of Mr. Dream Twister himself. I saw it and I thought it was good. It was entertaining. The best parts definitely were the kid actors.
Yeah.
I think these are probably be some of the better actors coming into Hollywood soon as they get old. So I look forward to seeing them. I have questions, and who knows if I'm ever going to get answers. I know there's going to be a sequel. Clearly, if you didn't know, guys, there's going to be a sequel. So. Yeah,
this is half of the book, basically.
Yes, exactly. This is and it's done in an interesting way where the parents are viewed as very just evil. You know what I mean? Which explains a lot of little things in the movie to me. Like I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Correct. I'm like, no wonder this is happening here. You know what I mean? This is clearly leading to this. The film is shot very well. Music is pretty cool. It takes place in the 80s, and I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Something else? All right.
No. I was gonna make. I was gonna talk about it because if I'm glad to hear that you got all that out of it, because especially when you're saying, I got the feeling that the way the parents act and the adults, basically the way the adults are,
which are a lot of them are just like ooh, these are creepy ass parents right here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and the fact is that I saw the movie. I also read the book, and yes, you nailed it. They go straight for that. There kind of even explains a reason for that happening. Obviously, I won't go into spoilers or anything like that, but I did enjoy. I like the book as a whole, even with parts on the books where it's a Stephen King novel. He's a great writer. I give him that, but there are some parts where there's some things where he's notorious for this. He will go into some ideas, and rather than elaborate the ideas, it just kind of like ends there, and you don't know anything. Like, well, whatever happened to this person, or this was a person of great importance, and that's it. Just to give you an example, and this very important person, and he just fell on the porch of his house and cracked his head and died, and you're like, wait, what? That's it? Like, what's going on? It's like,
is this important to the story?
Is this important? No, it's like, no, it just happened. So anyway, and it keeps going like that. So, but even with that, also the books tend to be very longish. At least this novel is very long. So the way they divide it in the book is that they alternate between the events of the kids, of the protagonists when they were kids, and their events as adults. So and he goes back and forth, very quite well done,
with purpose.
Yeah, and almost seamless, because it'll end like one chapter. It'll end a sentence in the middle, and then it'll continue the same sentence, but now it's talking about on the different era on the transition, basically.
It skips over
but it's still it makes sense. It doesn't lose the sense that he's trying to talk about. So to see the movie focuses, of course, solely on the kids. There's a lot of faces that we recognize from Stranger Things.
I only recognize one, but yeah.
Well, I thought there were a couple. Well, you know what? You'll know better. You'll definitely know better. There was one kid. Yeah. I guess it's the one kid I recognize is like, oh yeah, that's the kid from Stranger Things. Like immediately. You're right. The other ones maybe not so much, but having the images when I was reading it, the images that it gave me in my head, it was almost like perfectly the way that the character of Dembro, the main kid, not the main kid.
Yeah,
what do you call him?
The main protagonist.
What was his name? I know his
I think it
name
was like
because Georgie is Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Bill Dembro. Thank you. I don't want to forget it because he is one of my favorite characters actually, and he has this speech impediment.
He stutters. Yeah.
Yeah, he stutters. Yeah, and throughout the whole movie, he acts so like that child actor. He does it so well that I was like, man, when I was picturing his character as I was reading, that's exactly the way I picture him, you know. Mm-hmm. And same thing with the little girl. And I just read this a while back, so I'm gonna forget the name. Beverly, yes, Beverly Marsh. Or Beverly
something,
whatever.
March,
I think March is when she gets married. But the
spoilers.
Well,
no, you're fine.
Spoilers. They grow up. You know?
She gets married.
Yes. But yeah, this seeing their interactions was super entertaining because it was done well in the book. It was done very entertaining in the book. On the movie, it was almost comical. Mm-hmm. It was almost to that stretch of this is actually very fun. This is in no way, well, I wouldn't say in no way a scary movie because it does have his horror moments, but there are parts where you'll be smiling and laughing more. Sometimes even at the things that are supposed to be horrific, like the freaking painting that was looking at the kid, which actually they changed that in the book. It's not that, but they show this painting that is like horrible, horrible
it's
looking.
Scary ass painting.
It's a scary ass painting, but at the same time, it's kind of funny also. I don't know. I had a great time with the interactions of the kid, even more than and sometimes the clown even. And sometimes the freaking clown also. He was good. He was good. It's funny because that's an actor. The clown was funny.
Like what's his Dave Skarsgård or something like that. And you see him if you see him in like real life and you see him in his makeup, dude. There is no way. He literally like fell into this role like really well. I was like,
like you mean like he looks like almost like he could be like almost.
No. He
doesn't look like it at all.
Nothing at all. You would never know. You just look up the actor and you will see that you're like, man, this guy is a lot of makeup. So it is really well done. His makeup, the character is actually pretty well done, especially compared to the Tim Curry one from the 90s. That was a really bad one. But my only
talking about the miniseries, the miniseries back from the 90s.
My only issues I had with it, which aren't a lot, but it had a high point at the very, very, very beginning where it to me was going to essentially set the tone of what I was going to be expecting, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm ready for this." You know what I mean? And unfortunately, it doesn't quite live up to that the rest of the way. Right. You know what I mean? Also, it wasn't very scary. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I really didn't find it not even creepy or anything like that. It was just like, okay, this is it
was just fun. It was just
exactly and then the last thing, and this may be just me, my own personal thing, but I didn't quite understand his abilities, Pennywise. It was like, what exactly can he do? You know what I mean? And because he seems to be able to do anything, you know what I mean? Evidently, it is explained later in the book. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I assume in the next one I'll get a better explanation. But it
maybe not it won't explore the lore of it.
That was the other thing.
It was not gonna give you.
They opened up a lot about the lore. There was this one boy who kind of, for whatever reason, found it fascinating the history of Derry, the town that they were in.
Yes.
Because this is only happening in that town, and that's the part where I was fascinated. I wanted more of that. I wanted to discover more of that and see what it is. And no, I didn't really get. I didn't get at least not now. I didn't get the answer that I was looking for.
The book will give you a good history of Derry. Also, some character. It will introduce some character.
I mean, if you're going to show me the movie,
but,
you know what I mean.
But
you got to include it somewhere.
You listen to audiobooks.
I do.
I would say this is a good audiobook to put if you find it. If you find it entertaining. This is a good audiobook just to put on the back. On the back, it's gonna last you a while, and it's gonna be a good ride.
I wouldn't right now. I wouldn't do it until the next one comes out because I'm not going to.
No, exactly.
I don't want to alter it anyway. Yeah.
Right.
So, but I see what you're saying, and I probably would do that on the normal circumstances anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it there should still be something. Again, it's probably because they already have it, well developed in the second one.
Yeah.
So, but overall, like I said, it's still a good film. I definitely recommend it, especially if you like that type of thing. Again, I didn't find it scary, but some people do. My wife found it kind of
creepy.
She was turning away. So that I was like, I don't find anything scary here.
When I like I don't remember anything of it that I will say, oh shit, this will have me like. If the light is off in the living room and I need to go to get some water, I'll run. Nothing that comes to mind will have me going like that. But that said, the night after I saw it, let's say that was a good night. I was a little creeped out about a few things,
Yeah.
Especially considering that
happens.
For example, at the very beginning, when you first see what the clown transforms almost, it is kind of creepy. That image, it is kind of like
the different things that he.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so weird what the rules were there, but the different looks that he has, and also credit to the camera work. You know what I'm saying? Because it would add this very eerie element to him whenever he was on screen, which honestly. Hands down, awesome. That's the type of stuff you want. You know what I mean? I just wish I had more of it.
Yeah.
But that's the stuff that you want that you want from him. And it's a shame because he is all over the place. At some point, I'm going, how is no one knowing that he's there? He's literally popping up all over the place.
Yeah.
And this is not a big ass town, so what the hell,
Yeah.
But that's not here.
Derry, Maine. I think.
Derry, Maine, is it?
I think it's in Maine. I think it's in Maine. Well. The town is fictional, there's no Derry,
sure.
but it's supposed to be there, and it's supposed, and the book does leave. I don't think it's not gonna spell it. It's just the way you discover it through the things. It's gonna make sense.
I don't want.
You don't need an explanation.
You don't have to tell me that
exposition lore.
Correct, exactly. But at least they were because it was an element. I won't go into detail. I'll just move on from this. But there was an element where there was pictures of the old town when it first got settled, and I was just like, "Ooh, is this where he? Is this where it first begins and all that?" It also had
where's it coming from?
Elements of the witch, which also actually takes place in a town back in the day where it was set up. Like, ooh, I wonder if not connected but similar. You know what I mean? Hey, what happened? Something like this happened here.
It's in the It universe.
Yeah, sure, it's possible. So it did have a lot of Stranger Things vibes, which I definitely dig.
Yeah.
I still kind of give Stranger Things a more of an edge, even though Stranger Things is it's not as
scary.
Graphic as Stranger Things is not scary at all.
Yeah, but that's the way I got this one. To me, it was almost like, that's maybe as scary as you will find Stranger Things to be, which is not almost not at all.
I mean, it has its things, but it's not something that I'm going to run through the house in the dark because I got to turn on all the lights and shit. And then a game. I did actually play a game, and it wasn't for very long. But one of the few games that came out free this month for PlayStation Plus, Friday the 13th.
Oh god!
Yeah, I played.
You were on that Halloween theme, weren't you?
Dude, it's that time. This is my favorite time of year. Don't you know this?
Really?
Yes. October and November are my favorite months of the year.
Why not December? Might as well be
because December is everyone's favorite, and plus it's my birthday. It'd
there
be
you
kind
go.
of silly.
There you should be.
Yeah,
It's a celebration.
Yeah, okay.
The Macduff.
But I love this time of year where things start to get a little cooler. We start talking about spooky stuff. We're in Florida. What are we going to do? Florida is not participating in fall this year, guys, unfortunately. And this is at least the 100th year in a row. So no, I played Friday the 13th, and I got to tell you, I can see what the allure may be, but that game needs help, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So first off, I played, I want to say, I think I just played one round, actually. You know what I mean? And I died, for the record, but I still lasted a while, right? But I'm running around. By the way, I shut everybody off because I was like, there's a bunch of kids that are going, hey. I'm like, no, shut up.
Oh, the mute.
Mute. Everybody. And,
you're playing with randos.
Because I just wanted to give it a shot and see how it works. And it's an interesting premise. I got to give you that much. It's one of those that you have people, you got friends. Oh, it's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
I can definitely see the allure there. But with randos, it's like I was just I hit in. So basically, you guys search. You start in Crystal Lake or one of the maps in Crystal Lake. I don't know how long it is. Maybe a set time or something like that, but I haven't got that far into it. But basically, you as a counselor, there's usually 8 of you. You have to survive, and then as Jason, you have to kill all the counselors essentially, or kill as many as possible. I was a counselor, and I you search through the cabins. You look for tools, you look for a knife, you look for whatever you can. The ways to escape is there's a car. The car needs gas and needs a battery, right? So you got to find this stuff and put it in there. Of course, running makes noise, and Jason obviously has super hearing vision, even though he's
super hearing.
Oh yeah,
super vision and teleportation also.
He can run, even though I don't recall him ever running in the films.
Nope.
But hey, whatever. So I couldn't get any of that stuff. I was looking everywhere, and then of course you as a counselor, as they get close, he gets near you, you'll hear kill.
As he gets killed, he gets
near your vicinity. So whenever that happened, dude, I'd stop. I wouldn't run. I would just and I was able to hide in the closet. I had a pipe, and then this freaking troll comes by, who's another freaking counselor. And literally, I can see through the hole of the cabinet that I'm hiding in. They're coming out, and whoever it is just pointing the gun at me, and I can't hear them because again I've muted everybody.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Of course, Jason comes flying into the window.
He's like, he's there.
Maybe I don't know. So comes flying in through the window. I start jetting, and then I'm like, fuck this. I'm just because he's running. I'm like, I'm running mad fucking slow. Okay, I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I turn around and I just sock him with damn pipe. I had like a lead pipe, and I knocked him down, dude. I was like, oh, nice. I knocked him down. Okay. I mean, he doesn't stay down, but he got knocked down for a second. I was like, all right, let me just keep running. Cops were coming at this point, and I'm like, all right, I just got to survive until they get here so I can run to the exit, whatever.
Damn.
They didn't make it. I died. so
you were a casualty, an early casualty.
I was an early casualty, unfortunately. But overall, just from that one play, I did it because fucking Destiny had this update that I had to wait a while for. Yeah. I'm like, Jesus, why is this not updating? I have it set to update.
Destiny has the stupidest way of updating, which is you download a little thing that allows to download the bigger thing and you have to be in game to download. It's like, how can they have not figured this one out already? Why not patch the game like every other game?
I don't know. Is this just Destiny on PlayStation 4?
So far, it's the only one that I've seen do that.
Okay. Well, so there you go, guys. Yeah. That was the only reason I started playing. I'm going to try to play a little bit more this weekend because, again,
just wrap it up. Just wrap it up. You have Dead Space. I mean, Dead Space. Look at me. You have Red Dead Redemption around the corner.
That's next Friday, though. I should. I'm at the end. I'm literally at the end. I just for Destiny, guys. I'm at the end. All Knowing? No, the All.
I don't think anybody that plays Destiny remembers or cares about
And that
the
says it
story.
all about the series right
Yep,
there, doesn't it?
That's
Okay.
right. That's
Fair
right.
enough. All right, and then the last thing, and the only reason I left this for last is I can just cross this over to you. I rewatched a little movie that I absolutely love. Evidently, I am in the not the minority, but clearly the people I know and the minority.
The medium.
The minority.
Yeah.
It's a little movie it's an indie film called It Follows.
Oh, that freaking explains it. It's an indie. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't know that? You couldn't tell by watching it?
Go ahead and wrap it up so I can
Oh, man.
spark the truth among the non-believers.
Okay, so here's what I'll say about It Follows. For anyone who decides to watch it, there are so many ways of looking at this film. For the first, the story is pretty simple, guys. This girl gets cursed by sleeping with this guy, and that's essentially how you pass along the curse. And this creature essentially will follow you until it can kill you. And once it kills you, it'll go back to the person who gave you the curse, and go on and all the way back to whenever. It is to me a great, well shot film. Love the soundtrack of the film. Think it's one of the best, especially for horror films. Especially, I have not seen cinematography like this in a horror film in a while. It will probably be a good close second because, again, they actually put money behind that as far as stuff. So, there's many ways of looking as to what is chasing her, why it's chasing her. There's a lot of thoughts as to what the creature is, and a lot of people just get lost in the little things like that when it's like, you really probably just want to sit back and watch the film, you know what I mean, and see for what it is. That said,
you fucking plebes, you!
Hey.
How dare you want to sit down and enjoy a movie where you should be studying and making a social commentary about the meaning of
no social
movie.
commentary, no social justice, no SJWs here, none of that stuff. I don't want to go into too much detail because I really don't want to spoil the film. But I think if you watch it and you look probably past some of the main things that are not answered, evidently.
Things.
Well, the first thing that
just ignore the main things.
No, the first thing that your wife mentioned, it was so. My problem was I didn't know, or she some of this. ¿Cómo se dice? I'm not saying this verbatim because I don't remember exactly what she said, but she said along the lines, so I didn't understand what it was and why it was doing what it was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So
don't worry, because if you're expecting to see this movie and find out, you'll be sorely disappointed.
But it just
happens.
You will agree, and as
it just follows
that it does have its creepy moments, which is exactly the type of film it's trying to be, and I think it delivers that in spades. And the rest of it is good too for me. But I've been talking now for a while that I've just repeated what you did last week, so I'm gonna let you take over. And for the record, this is one man's opinion.
All right, so I feel like I should spoil the living crap out of it just to spare you from the pain of this movie, but I'm not going to do that. Don't worry, I'm gonna let you decide, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's about player choice.
It is about player choice. That's right.
But It Follows was a pretty garbage movie. And I'm gonna tell you why. As opposed to saying this is garbage, and then you ask me, but why is it? And I'll be like, I don't know, man. It's just garbage. I'm gonna tell you why I think that It Follows was a failure as a movie meant to entertain, and how I did not see, with a little exception and a little nod. I'm not even gonna say that I fully agree, but kind of like nod to the soundtrack, because it was very particular. Mm-hmm. Nothing else in the movie I found interesting or exciting.
Score
or
is that actually
the score? The score, yeah. So the premise, just like you will describe, is this creature, except hold on, we don't know what this creature is because it we don't even know if it's a creature. It could be a spirit, it could be a curse, it could be a some. We don't know what it is because he's never shown other than having.
Well, it's not a spirit because it actually, obviously it's tangible.
You just
can
said,
actually touch it.
Well, it could be possessing something. It could be possessing someone. Oh, that would be out of the realm of possible. Oh, true.
It could be possessing somebody. It's not going to change shapes. How does it change shape then?
Hey,
is it changing the shapes of someone?
Now you're trying to give
no.
logic
I'm just
to
saying.
a movie that is very illogical because it has no logic. First,
go ahead. I'll stop interrupting.
No, go ahead.
No. Okay.
All right. So so the problem that I have with this movie, and I will try to be serious now. The problem that I have with this movie was that yes, it does keep you wanting to know. It does keep you in suspense, which at the beginning is a good suspense. It's like, things are happening. They're happening, slowly. There is a very graphic image at the beginning. Okay, graphic enough. I think we have come desensitized to where you're gonna see it, be like that was nothing. I understand. Right. I personally don't like gore in movies on anything. For some reason I have no problem with it in video games, but in movies I think it's because I can control it. Maybe I don't know. Even though I never turn it off, but the first thing that it shows you kind of like, oh wow, so it's already setting the tone to what you think this is gonna be, but it's not. It's totally not. You don't see that level. That level of, I guess, violence, is it? Or gore?
Yeah.
Anywhere else. You don't have to worry about that. Which is fine because it's not like a movie needs to have that unless you're a sicko. So, as I was at the beginning, I was interested, but the more that this is not a long movie. I think it's like an hour and 40 minutes,
if that.
If that and that little bit of time, I just went from being interested because I wanted to know to just being in suspense because of, okay, let's pick it up. Let's see what's gonna happen, or where's the reveal. I already know the premise. I already know that this thing is following, which you don't see again, is following this protagonist, and the idea that what this protagonist has to do. Can I say that wouldn't be considered spoiler? The premise, the actual premise of how this thing. So
I think it's in the IMDb notes. So,
okay, so the premise is this curse. Let's call it a curse.
Is what it is.
It is obtained transmitted, I guess, by having sexual relations, and then the way you get rid of it is by having sexual relations with someone else, and if that person dies.
No. Now the curse follows.
Now the curse follows the other. Yeah. Now that exactly. Now the curse follows the other person. But if that person gets caught by the curse, now it gets back to you. Now it's gonna go backward. So it kind of like, the idea is like, just spread it around. Just spread it as far as many levels away from you, as many degrees out from you, so that you don't have to worry about it ever coming back and whatever.
Although it will.
I guess at some point, which I guess if this was occurred from the long, let's say ages back or whenever it happened, because we're not worthy enough to be told how this came out to be anywhere in the movie. So the solution, it's so obvious. It's so obvious that you can't imagine the previous generations. Let's say if this was intergenerational, if this happened to people before,
mm-hmm.
You can't imagine anybody else that this happened in the past being like, oh, maybe I should just sleep with with whatever, a hooker or a freaking hobo or something like that. They're having sex all the time, right? And get rid of this. And
that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. So,
but however, these are kids.
True.
So maybe that's not the first thing that they, or the second or third.
But
I'm just saying.
to this one, but evidently remember, if this is happening, if let's say I'm under the assumption, because I got to assume everything here, because again we're not explained. I'm assuming that if this happened back, at some point, someone must have been intelligent enough to realize, hey, I should give it to someone in an island, because
Here we go.
But that might be
That is the
overthinking it too much.
That's the other thing.
And-
So why don't I just leave the country?
exactly.
It can't possibly walk underwater, can it?
Right? It technically it shouldn't, right?
Who knows? Maybe it walks on water.
Yes. Have sex with like someone on a tribe from South America somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, the premise in itself, it was super silly, super pointed. But I was willing to give it a chance just because you spoke so highly of it and you found it so high. My understanding is this is one of your favorite movies.
One of my favorite horror movies.
Well, one of my favorite horror movies,
Definitely.
exactly.
Most definitely.
Where I didn't see any horror. Like at no point I was scared.
It's not. It's again doesn't have to be horror to be horror.
Right. It doesn't have to be like The Ring or something spookier or whatever. No. I get that.
But there are some very creepy moments that you have to admit are very creepy.
They are creepy in the sense of this movie is doing a lot of tropes also of the girl is freaking out. Something is following her, and what she does? Let me go to the freaking forest. When no one is around, I mean, and we laugh, but we criticize other horror movies for this silly tropes, and yet over here they happen constantly, and not exaggerated, but at least I can think about at least 2 times that I remember, and my memory is not that great. that it keeps happening, so that was kind of silly. And the movie, I guess it has some sort of like pacing issue also, because like I said, it's not a long movie, but like there's a lot of times where the camera is just panning around, or she is looking at the mirror, or she is looking at something, and it just stands for a little bit too long, where it almost feels like, well, if all of this shit was edited, this movie would have been probably like 45 minutes to an hour.
However, if all was edited, then the entire movie would be lost.
Because not true.
All those moments, and I say this all the time about anime, because anime is big on this. Where if it's a scene or a background, it tends to just be playing the background. It has nothing to do with actual stories. Why did you take the moment to animate this background for what? And then make it part of the film, and it doesn't seem part of it. It is part of it. There's always a reason. And again, I won't go into the details. I don't want to spoil anything, even though we're, I guess, kind of speaking loosely here. But there are reasons for it. Now, whether you see the reasons or you don't, I mean, that's fine. You didn't see it to see it. It didn't reach out to you to give you those reasons, which is fine. That is literally the fault of the movie then. But for others, such as myself, when I see it and I go, "Oh man," like you mentioned the moment in when she's staring at herself in the mirror, and it's like I can sort of see what she's looking at. She's looking at the loss of something. Something happened to her recently that it's changed her, and she's looking at her. That's literally what that whole point of that scene is. I've also I didn't quite see it, but I also heard something else regarding the ball being hit in the window. But I didn't see that. But then again, who said it was a girl? And I can see why she would see that, because I'm not a girl and I just didn't see it. So anyway, that's beside the point.
So it's a lot of parts where
it's all about the movie is heavy on. Not only does it have that creepy overtone of the actual movie, but it was also heavy on subtext, heavy on the underlying things that are going on in the background. And if you see it, it's awesome. If you don't, you're probably not going to like it. And literally, there's no way of, I can't make someone see it. I can only hope that they do.
No, that's a concern, because, and I know a lot of our listeners, maybe some of them that are going to school, they can relate to this, which is where they will have like let's say they're talking about literature, right? And they will have a teacher that is referring that is talking about what the author meant or what this part of text signifies, and you don't see it. You're like, it's talking about, let's say, for example, it's talking about, a boy with a red balloon, and suddenly that has some sort of like extra dimensional meaning, and you see this was drawn on this paper, which is to
the
signify
balloon is
that
clearly his youth.
well,
That he is about to let go.
Yeah. Which, and then what you keep looking at it and you keep thinking like it's a stupid blurb about a kid with a balloon, and that's all it is. The guy wanted to talk about a balloon, and we're the ones coloring, basically skinning the ideas that we want to give them rather than what they are. And what I saw here was a sort of mediocre, low budget movie that had a soundtrack that, although kind of interesting, it clashed too much with what was happening. It seemed out of place for it because it's a soundtrack where it plays a lot of like with synths.
Mm-hmm.
Like it almost sounds like the soundtrack of a Terminator movie. Almost, you want to think about.
Ooh,
not in the sense, not in the sense. Well, the instruments, not in the sense of the actual music,
mm-hmm.
but the instruments that they use. It sounds like one of like a really 80s, and I also don't understand what is the point. What is the point of confusing the eras? Like, what does that matter? Okay, so you have elements that make you think, oh, this is taking place in the 80s, but then you look at other things, it's like, well, no, that's impossible because on the 80s this technology was not available. But then you see something like something else, and you're thinking like, oh no, this is taking place during the summer because she's in the pool. But then no, but wait, but at night she puts on a winter coat, so this is definitely winter. Like, okay, fine, I see that the director is playing with that, but what is the point of doing that? Like, what is the point? Tell me, because apparently I'm not uneducated enough not to find it.
To me, again, this is just to me. To me, the point was to put you at ease. No, not put you at ease, but put you in unease. To make you feel uneasy, because it's like something's off. Something's definitely off with this. Something's going on. Something, and you sometimes you may not even notice it because it's just something felt off for that moment. Like I said, the first time I saw it, I didn't see or didn't click to me that oh wait, she was just in the pool earlier that day, and now they're outside and they're all in winter coats. Mm-hmm. And yet that was earlier in the day. It's like, so wait a minute. You know what I mean? That didn't click to me the first time. However, other things clicked to me, but it made me feel it's meant to be an uneasy feeling to make you feel like, whoa, something's wrong with this world. Something's wrong with this world. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. It's exactly what, and I've made this comparison before. This is exactly the same thing you get from when you see The Shining. It's like, yes, there's something wrong with this world. Something literally is wrong. And in The Shining, it's the hotel. Something's wrong with this. So much so that what does it do? It drives the man insane by the end of the movie. That's why. And the funny thing is, you're along for the ride with that because you're like, whoa, something's crazy off. This also it follows also in a weird way, not in the it's almost fairy tale like, but not in the fairy tale like
a happily
ever after. More of like a fable, like the old fables where you would have the story of the elf or something like that from the forest, but the elf you think is like a Keebler elf. No, this is actually more of an evil elf that it's just weird fables, and this felt to me like that. And these little intricacies that they would put in that would just be like, what the hell's going on?
You're saying things that those who haven't seen it, now they're going to start bringing to their imaginations, and it's just going to set them up for bigger disappointment. Spoiler alert, there are no elves.
There are no elves. No, I'm just saying, example of a fable. Right. You know what I mean? Because if you really think about a lot of the current fairy tales are extensions of old fables.
Right.
And those old fables are like horrible. Like the real story behind the Little Mermaid
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a
yeah.
horrible
All those
fucking
things
story.
are-
yeah.
yeah,
So those are
kinda
things.
dark.
Yeah, yeah. So this feels to me like a modern day fable of that type of caliber. And throw into it the music, throw into it all the crazy, and yes, throw into the fact that it's also rated R for being rated R. You know what I mean? It just clicked for me. It
just-
literally just, I've seen it 3 times. This is
It
my
has-
third time watching it this weekend.
This is another one and I should move on from it, but I kind of wanted to have this discussion because I want you guys. I'm not in any way I'm gonna say don't watch it. Quite the opposite. I'm very interested on you guys watching it and giving your reactions. Like you know,
it's on Netflix.
It's
right
on
now.
Netflix
Yeah,
right
you
now.
have
It's free.
Netflix,
Yeah, that's the best thing about the
Yeah, there
movie.
you
Right
go.
now, it was free. I didn't have to pay anything on it. to
Which,
watch
to
it.
be fair, if you had to pay for it, I probably would have said no, don't bother. I probably
There
wouldn't
you
even
go.
brought it up. So I would have held up for it because I know the type of movies you do dig, and I also know the type of things in movies that you really like. No, fuck that.
Yeah.
That is just not the way to. So I would not have done that if there was any way there was money.
But
involved. I
this
was
one,
like, this is on Netflix.
This one was free, and you
and
were
I was like, you know what?
I need
you
to
have
troll
to at
him.
least experience
I need
it.
to troll him.
And no, not to troll him,
Yeah.
you know, but I need to experience it. Maybe he'll see something.
I believe my little text at like 1 a.m. right after I saw it was like, dude, what the fuck? I think that was actually the text.
I'm gonna find this.
It was like, dude, what the fuck? I seen like, why have you done this to me? Why have you done this to me?
I think that's what it is. What did I do to you?
What did
for
I do to you? Yeah, what did I do to you?
What did I do to you to deserve this movie?
Yeah, I know.
hilarious.
Especially because soon enough I'm gonna talk, and I'm probably not gonna spend that much time on it. But of another movie that you also recommended, which I thought it was fantastic, which and not to like overblown or anything like that. It was just really entertaining. It was the complete opposite. It was something that I watched. It was enjoyable.
Also
it was entertaining.
original too.
All right, so yeah. But this one, it's just I wanted to. At some point, I was bored, and it was a short movie. And on top of that, the biggest sin of it all, which you're gonna say that it does, but it doesn't end. It just what appears to be okay. Let's open the third act. It just cuts to the title thing and credits, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? Where's my rest of the movie? Do I have to buy DLC for this movie? It's like nothing gets resolved. Absolutely nothing. You say yes, it got resolved. I say no because the quote unquote resolve is exactly the same resolve that they have been trying and failing. And if the message was, well, this is gonna fail anyway, the end, then like to me. That's like, well, that's not very entertaining. That's not very interesting. You just told me the equivalent of me telling you how my time of me spending 2 hours
not the
to
result.
describe how my day at work went. And if you're not interested, well, go ahead. So you say that's not the
No, that's not the how you look at the
the end.
The end is
The
not
quote unquote end.
Yes, it is the end, but it's not. It's.
Dude,
I'm not gonna spoil it. But yeah.
Be advised. It's just suddenly credits are gonna roll, and I already know because you guys enjoy this. You are going to see to see it to completion. It's gonna be the end, and you're gonna be like, oh, okay. But you know what? If inside there's a little bit of conflict, if I manage to get a little bit of conflict in you, like trying to convince yourself that this is good, that's it. That's okay. That's enough. Because at the end, you can say that it was great. You can say whatever, and that's fine. That's good. Obviously, this movie is very polarizing.
Definitely.
Because when I went on it with the high regards that you gave it. And I saw the score on Netflix. It was like a 50%. It was literally a 5 out of 10. And in retrospect, I was like, I'd be like, I probably would have scored it lower than that. But
there's no way
okay.
of scoring it lower than that.
No, there you go. So yeah, so that should tell you what to expect. So anyway, I feel like
Agree to disagree, sir.
yeah. That's you like bad movies. I get it. You know, that's fine. I like to entertain myself in the movie. That's why I don't watch many, because a lot of them are not even worth the time. So I'll tell you what was quite worth the time, and me and my wife had a disagreement on. Cabin in the Woods. The movie that came out, when was it? I think it was 2014.
No, it was like 2016 or something. Let me see.
Okay, all right. So anyway, now this is one, and I promise I was gonna keep it short because I don't want to say too much about it, because I feel like don't even look for trailers on this.
No,
the trailers will mess this up.
Oh, no, 2012.
2012. There you go. There's only one trailer that was edited that, if another wouldn't mind posting it on the show notes,
I can definitely do that.
That should be the only trailer you need to watch, and it might not say much about it, but trust me, it was very entertaining. It was very entertaining. Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah, it's one of those movies, and this one I presented to him as well, and I said, I don't want to tell you anything about this, because this is one you want to go in more than It Follows. It Follows, I can tell you, but it wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't do either here or there. But with this one, because there's such an awesome revelation that happens throughout the film that it's like, oh shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if even saying that, literally telling you that, is already too much. So I'm not gonna say anything else.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what, Cabin in the Woods, highly recommend it. If you want to have a fun time instead, don't watch It Follows.
Make
don't
it
waste
a
your
double
time.
feature, guys.
No, don't watch It Follows. Just watch Cabin in the Woods, and or if you're gonna do it like a double, then start with It Follows, so that you can cleanse the palate. A really bad movie, and not horror at all. All right. So what else? Well, the rest is just, honestly, it's just been gaming. I play a little bit of Forza Horizon because I need to keep up, but I'm not playing it as direct because I'm also spending time with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which it keeps giving me good stuff. Like now there is this other gameplay feature where you're after this cultist. So, but before you could go after this cultist, you have to uncover through finding, and clues and stuff like that, who they are, and they could be anywhere. And I'm hoping that they could even be people that you have talked to, that you have crossed paths, and then you find out that they're part of the secret Hydra. Society. It's like, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like a secret society. Yes, yeah. So, but at the same time, they could be hunting you. I'm not sure if the cultist does, but there are people that hunt you down. I think I spoke about this, right? In length, which was really cool. The thing with the cultist was something that got unlocked after 15 hours, and then you get that, and it's more more things that the game is giving you to keep you entertained. Because again, it's a really long ass game, so I'm having fun with that. I ultimately I didn't did much progress because I've been kind of busy and actually watching movies and stuff like that and working. But I wanted to give you a report on a game that came out this week that I just felt like we needed to mention, or at least I needed to mention. I know a lot of you don't care about the series. Actually, me included, I don't care about the series, but this one, again, it was an outlier. Just like Assassin's Creed, it was an outlier. There's a lot of good vibe on it. A lot of people talking highly about it. It's like I need to find out. The curiosity is killing me. Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Oh my goodness.
It should come as no surprise because I was trying to hide it and you found the icon on my computer. You're like, oh, you play Call of Duty? I'm like, fuck. I was supposed to bring it as a surprise to you. But anyway, unfortunately, I didn't get to play a lot of it. I tried to play as much as I could, which was actually downloading it yesterday morning and then playing a little bit because I need to watch It Follows and then playing a little bit after that. I didn't. I tried. I'm playing on PC.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very solid port, very well done. When I say the high regards to a PC port is when you could tell that the game was I don't want to say was designed because obviously the game in itself is designed for the consoles and the PC is still a port. But it is an incredibly well done port. I mean, it managed to have all the graphic features that you need to play with to adjust it. Graphic wise, it has support for ultra widescreen, also done properly where the HUD doesn't stretch or you don't have any weirdness like that. It has uncapped frame rate, so it doesn't limit you to 30 or 60 or anything like that. It's limited. It recognizes. It recognizes if you plug a controller, it just automatically changes so you can play with the button. At least with the Xbox control pad, it does. I haven't tried it with the PS4, but and it feels good. It feels natural. Playing with keyboard and mouse, kind of like Overwatch. Where you recognize immediately. Okay, this game I know it's on consoles, but when I'm playing it on PC, I don't feel like it's a console game that they're forcing keyboard and mouse onto it. It's actually very natural. So that is to say that the company Beanox, I understand is what they call. They made a really fine PC port where we don't have to worry about anything feeling like unfinished, or not done ideally. So the game runs well. I admit, this is literally the first time I have ever played a Call of Duty multiplayer game. Because even the Call of Duties that I owned before, I always stick to the single player campaign, and I never because. I know what I'm encountering out there,
And how fast did you die, sir?
Oh, ridiculously fast though. When my first fight, because I wanted to get acclimated with it, I went with it has several modes. Among them, the Black Ops mode or Black Ops or whatever they call or.
Talking about
the battle royale. They don't call it Black Ops. They call it something Blackout. Thank you. Yeah. The Blackout, which is their version of Battle Royale. I didn't get to play that, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I should have done, but then I wanted to try. I don't know the feelings of this particular game, so I wanted to try. So I just went in. There's some. It doesn't have single player, obviously. Like we already know that, but it does have like a tutorial missions that you could do, and they all consist of presenting you a particular character from the Call of Duty universe, let's say Mason, for example, and then showing you his or her capabilities, and then releasing you into a mode of the game. And the mode could be, team deathmatch or free for all or the usual stuff. So, before you get to play that, it shows you it gives you a dossier of what each character is or what they have been up to, I guess, in the world, because I guess everything is connected. Dude, wow. I was not expecting Call of Duty to become so as gory as I've seen this cutscene. Like some of these cutscenes have me like going like, oh shoot. And I have a high tolerance for gore and video games, I was like, oh man, that looks like like again, my last Call of Duty game was Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Mm-hmm.
The jump on this is like somebody gets shot in the jaw, basically, and like you see the redness of how she ends up being, and you're like, whoa. If it's someone with an arm chopped down, it does give like it almost a little too detailed on those cutscenes where you're like, ooh. And of course, he does the thing that Call of Duty has always done, which is always like, hey, you want to see it asks you, some elements may contain, extreme levels of violence and language and gore, if you're okay with it, yes or no.
Warning, yeah.
Yeah, it gives you the warning. Except that the game did it to me like twice, which I found odd because it's usually just a toggle on the menu and that's it. You don't have to worry about it again. And this one, twice, it gave me the same, like I already had selected yes, and then later on it asked me again, and I'm like, okay, I can see why now.
Is it also that graphic in game, or is it just that
in
cutscene?
game? It is more graphic than I remember it being, but it's still it's still. I don't think it's anything outside of say Quake, where
okay.
bodies will blow up and you'll see chunks, or Mortal Kombat where 11 rib cages will come out of your character.
Makes sense
when the fatality gets done. So it's stuff like that. But again, for a game that is so mainstream and so many kids are playing this, like I don't remember Call of Duty ever being to that level. So it was kind of jarring, surprising, but it was fine. Another thing that I noticed was that they are really embracing the demographic these games are going for.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the way the soldiers talk does not sound at all like what a real mature, disciplined soldier will sound like on the field. Like I can't tell you an exact line that I can say, but they every now and then they will throw like, yeah, you're gonna get this motherfuckers and you're gonna lit them up. They're gonna be lit AF. And like, really? Lit AF? That's like the lingo, especially in the future. Like we're saying that in the future. We're saying lit AF.
AF.
And examples like that where you're like, man, they really, really embrace what you imagine a typical COD head. And again, this is not to insult anybody that is a fan of the series, because again, there are people that are super fan of the series, and then there are the Godheads. And the way I describe that, what I mean by that is the people that are almost insufferable enough to play with because they're really, really good. But also they talk really, really foul, or they're just annoying, or they're, and they're probably like 11 or 12. I mean, it's not generalizing here a little bit, taking some liberties. You guys will forgive me, but yeah, they're definitely embracing that to a point where it is almost like not sure, but I haven't gone to gameplay, so I'm just giving you the impression so far. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Okay, so well,
I mean, I get the ¿cómo se dice? The
vibe.
The vibe.
The vibe that it tries to give you from the beginning. And the games, I feel like it does a very poor job of introducing you. Mm-hmm. Like the game it's almost designed. It's made for the people that already know and play and are good at it, and it doesn't care.
So the yearly guys, the guys who buy them every year.
Exactly. Like immediately after you're presented with the, after it gives you the splash screen of all the developers, it just throws you to a menu of 4 options. Doesn't explain what the options are. It doesn't say anything. The only way that I knew about the dossier that you could play, which was a smaller option like in the corner, was because I heard a podcast where they were talking about exactly that, and I was like, "Yep, I could see it." I didn't understand what they were meaning, but after experiencing it, I was like, "Oh, okay, yes, definitely." For me, a new person to the multiplayer Call of Duty series, is like, I don't know. So I managed to do well enough with the bots, and it also does the Overwatch thing where
Play
it'll
the game?
Yes, it'll show the play of the game, and it'll show your name and everything. It's like, oh, really?
I haven't played it, obviously, but I have listened to Gilberto and his wife, because they actually have, and they were playing.
Oh,
and they mentioned it. I was like, really? Okay, I guess they're doing it too. Yeah, I might as well.
The play of the game, dude. And that's almost exact.
Are they just as ridiculously unfair?
No. Oh, well, I haven't played enough to know that. Maybe Humberto could tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, I was always playing the game because those bots are super stupid. You know, I mean, and they're meant to be. It's the beginning. You're basically doing a tutorial at the beginning. But I went in game. And oh my God, I'm not ready. And the first thing I picked up was free for all, because I figure I don't want to worry about getting my team down. You know, nobody's a friend here. Let's just attack it. Let's just see how this feels. So that was my online multiplayer was that I could do last night was free for all, and I handled myself to where I'll be proud of myself, you know, because I was like, I could say, well, at least I got a couple of shots, you know. I downed a couple of people, maybe by luck, by, you know, spray and play and pray.
As you were falling down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But more often than not, I must have looked stupid as fuck to anybody else, because I'll be throwing I'll try to throw a grenade, and it'll be one of those sticker grenades, and I will throw it thinking that it's gonna bounce off the walls, and then it just sticks right there. And then on top of that, when it explodes into little grenades that then just like get me also. And I'm like, oh wow, this was mega stupid, you know. But unfortunately, I have to say, Call of Duty it's very unforgiving for new people, and it's still a game where
that for years, so.
I still feel like as opposed to I have to say, as opposed to Battlefield, I feel like Call of Duty is a game of extreme twitchiness, and if you got them, if you see them first, if you saw him first, you could probably get the kill then, you know, or for other people, surely get the kill. In my case, maybe get the kill, because they will still kill me sometimes. I'll be like, oh shit. Like, I definitely need to get to get good on it. But I'm not gonna lie, you know, it was fun. It was different. I like the you know, I don't hate the multiplayer setting, and it was such an excellent PC port that I do want to see, you know, more of it. Even if I don't stick to it, and you know, I'm not intending to become a Call of Duty expert or anything like that. But maybe if I'm like a level 10. Like, just like with Overwatch, maybe be like, that's good. That's good enough.
That'll do.
And then, leave it there. And that's all I've been doing.
Then we're back, guys, and we're going to go right into some news items. And by items, you will see in a moment that we're playing pretty fast and loose with news today.
Yeah, there's unfortunately not
very little going on in the world.
A lot of fashion.
Not much going on. I'm actually going to start with the most silliest of news for this week. Soul Calibur 6 fans, remind us why we can't have nice things.
Oh, sir, I think I know where this is headed.
Yes. So Soul Calibur 6 launched today, and it again foolishly trusted fans with the Create a Soul feature.
You foolish, foolish fans.
Foolish devs for thinking this wouldn't happen. Which is a very well endowed tool for creating custom characters. By the way, I'm reading this off of Polygon, and so I didn't write this. And boy, is it fun to play with. Many players have used the
wow.
Yes, I know. Let's see what I did there. Many players use create a soul to pay homage to heroes from movies, comic books, and other video games. But in Lizard Man, some have found a more sinister application. The apple cylinder and heart objects of the Soul Calibur 6 creation suit can be made into a phallic shape. And when Lizard Man is then given the gyrating and hip thrusting move said of Voldo, you have a serious case of reptile dysfunction.
Oh, I need reptile dysfunction.
I have
dysfunction.
I have to give credit to Owen Good here, writer at Polygon. Well done,
sir. High fives over the internet because that was
good stuff. I don't know if you saw a video of this, but holy crap, dude! It's like some
video.
Oh, you
actually.
did? Oh, okay, yeah. It's some serious.
It was
like hentai.
Kind of disconcerting to see. Yes, and it reminded me a lot of another game that had a character creator. Of course, that is Spore.
Oh, yeah.
And there are so many, a myriad of planets that you can visit, all of them with penis-shaped aliens. Let's just make the most horrible thing, because of course the internet is the internet. What people don't realize is that the internet is very useful, it's very helpful. It's kind of like, it's like electricity. We can't live without it, but if you try to tame it, or it could shock you and kill you. So the internet is that level of evil. It is useful, but the moment you try to give it power that it shouldn't, it's just gonna create the Rule 34 for everybody, anybody and everybody. Let's just get the bad taste out of our mouth.
Yeah, I had to get that one out of the way. Sorry, guys.
And into maybe not equally dark, but still sad news. Or it depends, actually. This might be actually good. Days Gone has gone to be delayed.
Oh, my God. Delayed to when?
Days Gone delayed to April 2019. Bend Studios will take the opportunity to further polish Days Gone. This is courtesy of IG and the N. In a post on the PlayStation blog, I guess it's also on PlayStation blog, Sony Interactive Entertainment of America Marketing Vice President Assad, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, wrote that Sony decided to move with the release of Days Gone from the crowded February timeframe into April. Sure, because that's the problem that Days Gone was having.
I mean, to be fair, it's a crowded month. Actually, January, February, and March are all pretty stacked.
No, it is. Yeah. But, I mean, this game, I don't know about, I don't know how you feel about it, but what I've seen of this game is almost like every time it gets shown, it looks worse. And, I mean, not worse in the sense that I don't think it's going to be a bad game.
It looks more plain.
For the quality of game that Sony has been delivering lately, this game looks like a very
lackluster.
Very lackluster. Yes. That's a good way of putting it. And you're right. The February, it would have gotten trounced, obviously. Yeah. So
besides, if that delay was going to be that other one from Microsoft that's been delayed for a million times.
Oh, Crackdown?
Yeah,
no, I already told you. Yeah. Crackdown is canceled. Just people don't know it just yet. That news is going to come out.
Neither does Microsoft.
No, Microsoft does not know it. That game is just, give it up. It's not coming together. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, cloud processing, man, is not easy.
No, they shied away on that already. They completely did away with that. For those who don't know, Days Gone was originally revealed at E3 2016. There was a closed demo afterwards. People noticed some similarities with the Horizon Zero Dawn's open world. I didn't know about that.
Oh, nice.
Really. So most of the people that have gotten their hands on it recently felt like it was Last of Us Junior. Mm-hmm. That's high praise, actually. I would say.
I would say so too.
Yeah,
open world Last of Us, because it's open world.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not opposed to it. It's just the impression that it gives it and the little that has been shown. Mm-hmm. But I don't mind zombie games. I'm not fatigued or anything like that. And if it ends up being a good one, then I hope so, because so far
it'll probably be in the clear at that point.
Sony has been on a roll.
Yeah, I
They've
agree.
been crazy with
Speaking of Sony rolling.
What? Oh, you know that was happening.
Yes, definitely. Spider-Man's first DLC comes out next week, guys. I already have it paid in. Actually, it comes out next week. I wonder if I can finish it before
Red Dead?
Yeah.
Very likely you could.
Happen. Yes.
It could happen.
Okay. New storyline for Spider-Man launches next week, kicking off this series of story-based downloadable content for the game, The Heist. The Heist stars Black Cat, one of the most classic characters from the Spider-Man comics. Not only is the woman, otherwise known as Felicia Hardy, one of Spidey's greatest frenemies, she's also Peter's ex. So that's going to add some stuff. And I think I mentioned this before.
Really?
But
Really? The ex-girlfriend it's the what do they have to do? Why do they have to do that?
Because there's only so many superpower people that they're going to get together with themselves.
Oh no,
so,
true,
yeah,
right.
So,
So there were. It's not like, well, she was my ex-girlfriend and now she has superpowers. It was not that.
I don't think so. No.
Okay, thank goodness. Okay,
okay.
because I'm down with your explanation a whole lot better than because this. I feel like this is the explanation of the of the Homecoming movie. It's like, hey, my girlfriend's dad is the bad guy. Fuck the world.
It's just horrible.
It had to be my ex-suegro.
Yes.
That's so stupid. That movie was so stupid.
Update here, guys. As of today, the 19th, if I'm not mistaken, yes, New Game Plus is now available for Spider-Man. It's out right now. Including the update is also the ultimate difficulty level, as well as some big photo mode changes.
Oh, I heard that they actually have stickers that represent the water
puddles, baby.
The puddles.
The missing puddles.
The missing puddles. They can put missing puddles on it.
Oh, I love it! Look at that beautiful puddles.
Puddlegate, yeah. Remembering Puddlegate.
That is pretty freaking awesome. That actually makes me very happy.
Yeah, that
freaking Insomniac. I love these guys.
Yeah. Now I'm hoping for this, because when I think of New Game Plus, I think of starting the game over with the same powers that I have. Well, already, obviously, it's the New Game Plus. But the plus should be, and now you're going to get new enemies. You're going to get new, in the case of Spider-Man, I guess, costumes. I was going to say gear, but, maybe new gear. Maybe some legendaries. That's what to me plus means. On the Spider-Man game, of course, it wouldn't be like that, because there is no RNG on Spider-Man. They get a legendary suit, or anything like that. You just get a suit, But if you have unlocked everything already, then what's the point of
the only
New Game Plus?
For me personally, it's to easily run through the story one more time. If I just want to run through the story, I don't have to worry about going to. I mean, there's going to have, what do you call it, the crimes and everything in the street, but I don't have to fucking stop about it. I just continue with the story, and I can probably finish it a lot faster just to enjoy the story one more time.
Does the game scales with you?
I honestly don't know. It doesn't feel like the game ever actually scaled with you. I mean, the enemies that I took out in the beginning are extremely easy later on.
Yeah, well, they will present you harder enemies. So would you start them with the hardest enemies at the very beginning?
I mean, it depends. I don't know if they're going to do, because a lot of that, like for instance, the New Game Plus in God of War, that one right there, you start off with everything, but dude, it's like the difficulties ramped up.
I'll tell you,
it's not easy to get through at the very beginning. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. I tell the New Game Plus, like The Witcher 2, and I imagine the third one also have this. Where it was a New Game Plus. There was a piece of gear or a sets of gears that you could only get if you were playing New Game Plus. And that in itself made it cool, because it gave you a reason to play something that will slightly alter the gameplay. Especially when you're playing for something extra. Because New Game Plus is just, now I am equally as powerful, so I can just mow through fools. Then that's not interesting. Because I wouldn't want to play like that, because I might as well be playing on easy mode.
But it's all about options. So you may not like.
Well, now you sounded like
I'm just saying it's true. It's all about options. You may not like playing. You don't see a reason to do it. However, the new ultimate difficulty may be something that now you can use and do on a new game plus.
Right.
You can go. Okay, you keeping everything you started with, or rather you ended the game with, but now it's the ultimate difficulty. So you're gonna need every gadget that you've never even used. You unlocked, you never use it for any reason. Well, now you're gonna fucking need it because this shit's not.
But that's
easy.
what it should be.
Yeah.
The enemy should scale with you.
It should definitely have that option. But
Yeah.
I'm saying is that there are probably other people who goes, me personally, I just want to play the story over. I don't want to have to fucking do anything or go unlock shit, whatever, and I just enjoy the story for what it was, and of course skip through all the stupid Mary J shit.
Is that shit optional?
It should be.
I don't think.
Can I skip this? Can we just say I did it good?
I'll tell you who skipped. Though. Ubisoft, because they completely canceled this week's Assassin's Creed Odyssey first in-game live event. Oh,
That's sad.
They canceled their live event due to technical difficulties. They say the live event for Assassin's Creed Odyssey was to happen on October 16, giving players level 30 and above the opportunity to take part in limited time contracts to earn epic and legendary rewards. However, it says, Demise the Indifferent, the epic mercenary who was to kick off Odyssey's first live event, was nowhere to be found in the game. Oh, I guess that's what That's what it is. There is a character. It kind of makes me think of the elusive targets of Hitman. I mean, I don't know if it plays like that, but I know how the mercenaries work, and they're usually hunting your ass down. So maybe you can actually hunt them down. And it was gonna start with this guy. And then they tweeted. The way they tweeted was, rumor has it that Demise bailed at the very last minute. Apparently, he was intimidated by the idea of facing the Mystios. He'll give you a fair fight soon enough as we track him down. That was the tweet that Assassin's Creed. So yeah, I wasn't even aware that this game was gonna have like live events of that front. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. That's could be something. Again, cool. This is still a single player game. But giving you the opportunity to hunt down these targets and making almost like that could be that and Hitman did this, of course.
Yeah,
those are enjoyable life events. Mm-hmm. That I wouldn't mind, because you don't need them. You don't need to complete any of them, but it's cool that they're there, because then you have the opportunity to go, to go after them and
to do something.
You can do something separated from what the game. Yeah, because another thing that the game, I think I told you that does was you could get some special contracts that are a limited time, the dailies, basically the equivalent of the dailies.
Yeah, and
you get the currency that allows you to buy this particular gear and stuff like that. So that's cool, but it's a shame that didn't start this week. So yeah, technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties, you say? I say, it happens.
I say he was scared.
My last piece, sir, is kind of a big one. So I just saved it for the end here. I didn't know if you're going to bring it up, but I'll bring it up now. Rockstar responds to blowback over Red Redemption 2 team's 100-hour work week.
Jesus Christ.
If you didn't know, Dan Houser had an interview with New York Magazine recently where he literally said 100-hour work weeks. Now, I mean, you have to read it to it, because it's a fairly long article, but when you kind of put it into context, you kind of see what he meant. He wasn't saying, "Hey, we do 100-hour work weeks every week, every 52 weeks a year,"
or who knows, probably.
He came out with a statement following up on that, saying there seems to be some confusion arising from my interview with Harold Goldberg of the New York Magazine. After working on the game for 7 years, the senior writing team, which consists of 4 people, Mike Unsworth, Rupert Humphreys, Laszlo, and myself, had, as we always do, 3 weeks of intense work when we wrap everything up. 3 weeks, not years. we have all worked together for at least 12 years now and feel we need this to get everything finished. After so many years of getting things organized and ready on this project, we needed this to check and finalize everything. More importantly, we obviously do not expect anyone else to work this way. Across the whole company, we have some senior people who work very hard purely because they're passionate about the project or their particular work, and we believe that passion shows in the games we release. But additional...
It's very easy to be passionate about your job when your job is on the line, I tell you that.
Yeah, but that additional effort is a choice. We don't ask or expect anyone to work anything like this. Lots of other senior people work in this entirely different way and are just as productive. I'm just not one of them. No one, senior or junior, is ever forced to work hard. I believe we go to great lengths to run a business that cares for its people and to make the company a great place to work for them. So, I definitely,
fair.
yeah, I guess completely fair. I mean, when you think of certain projects or something like that, first off, clearly, crunch is
we should have a topic of the week
everywhere
on this. Or I believe at some point we did.
Yeah, I think we did. Crunch is everywhere. No one is above crunch. Naughty Dog, obviously Rockstar. Obviously, although Rockstar can take all the time they want because they're printing money over there. Let's be real. But obviously, this is the type of thing that he does, at the end because they're working on the narrative. I think it's important to I'm sure you saw a lot of the articles talking about oh my God, this is happening. How can they allow this to happen? Blah blah blah. When you actually read what he said, the problem is that you're reading how it was written, so you don't actually know how he said it. So there's a little bit of context lost there,
Right.
But that said, when you just kind of look how he said it, it was very nice. He may have just been, what do you call it? Hyperbole. You're just like, when you say, dude, I haven't eaten in like a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, that's how hungry you are, but you obviously have eaten. You know
People
what I
at
mean?
Rockstar haven't been eating in years.
Yeah, haven't been eating in years. These guys have
Their
been working
foods have been kept.
100-hour weeks, and and they
No
sleep
lunch
at
breaks.
no lunch breaks, and they sleep at the office, and obviously that doesn't seem to. I don't think that was the case. Obviously, I
Right.
think it may have been blown just a little bit out of proportion, but I can understand why, considering everything that happens, particularly recently with Telltale, how that was the case there, and I think everybody coming out of there. Was immediately said, yeah, this is just the way it was.
Yeah,
here, you know what I mean?
And honestly, I am. I think crunch sucks. I don't think everybody does it is a justification for it. I think
No,
when
I
you
don't
have
think so either.
when you have obviously crunch is to me. This is and listen, I'm not an insider. I'm not in the in any company's payroll or anything like that. But to me, when a company has to crunch at the end to that level, I mean, because obviously, yes, there's always time where you have to do a very intensive checkup before certification because you already set dates for certifications and yada yada. I understand that, but to hear about a company that is constantly on crunch, for example, it is a management failure. It is definitely a management failure, and it is also a timekeeping, a timekeeping failure because. Yes, it is true that you can't just let your people take the time on their projects and be very laid back about it because then you become
points. Yeah, exactly.
Then at that point you become Star Citizen, but which is true.
Don't even get. I think Star Citizen needs a little bit of crunch.
They
sir.
have, they need a little bit of get your ass to finish this up.
fucking chop, guys.
Yes. If anything, they have proven the fact that my idea of a publisher-less company does not work.
Yeah.
And I it was a dream that I saw, that it was a vision and it looked great, but no, apparently it is a nightmare. But that's okay because this is still printing money. But having crunch at to that level of to that extreme every day, that is also failure of our own system of having to meet deadlines for releasing the games at this particular times, and which unfortunately it's kind of antiquated. It's necessary, but I don't know if it's antiquated.
I mean, I don't know how it's fixed. I mean, there are, for instance, movie projects. Movie projects like Lord of the Rings. Okay, these guys were working long hours into the night, filming scene upon scene upon scene. We're looking at, 12, 16-hour days. Now, they do have a union. So clearly, if they're doing this, now I don't know how you do a union in gaming, because in gaming, it's all over the place. A team that may be working on one game may not all be located in the U.S.
True.
So whatever rule you have here doesn't apply to people elsewhere, in another country. So I don't know how you fix that. I think that there is unfortunately a certain level of crunch that, is going to happen. It's part of the nature of the job. However, I think they need to be compensated.
Oh, yeah.
I also think it needs to be a choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There shouldn't be any blowback for anybody. Now, how does one justify going into work and everybody's staying until midnight and you're like, it's 5:00, guys. I'm out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not the same as, say, us on the insurance industries of the company that we work on. That I wouldn't care. It's like, oh, fuck this shit. I'm out, guys. Yesterday was one of our busiest days because it was the day of where all the agents, have to like wrap up their
commission day.
And there was one Mr. David Gomez. He actually planned day off around that time.
Smart man.
It was like, I know, it was genius. It was so well done that I was like, man, that was evil genius. That was powerful. Of course, now I know.
And no one's half the battle.
And that could get ruined because then a lot of people are gonna catch up on that and But that was genius. But that's something different. Doing it in a company that you really don't care, to doing it on a company where, hey, it's all you should feel. I mean, I'm not saying they are, but having a position on that company and making the money they're probably making, it should be almost like a privilege. But at the same time, you're kind of like,
but it's still at the same time you're still human.
Yeah, exactly. I mean? You still have to do. You still have to live your life.
There's still limits, and I think honestly this particular situation was blown a little bit out of proportion.
Yeah.
He clearly was talking about his team of 4 people who evidently do this all the time, and it was for only 3 weeks because they needed to clean things up towards the end, which he gladly accepted. So, but that said, developers have from Rockstar have also spoken out recently and kind of telling their angles on it. You can also look at that. There's an article, also on Polygon. Red Dead Redemption 2 developers open up about work conditions at Rockstar Games, specifically through tweets and stuff like that. And they've been very like, I want to be clear. We have good practices here, which, to be fair, we've heard of people, even from CD Projekt Red, one of my favorite companies, people who've snuck, not want to say snuck out, who've spoken out and say, hey, conditions here aren't what they seem, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. You've never heard that from Rockstar. So,
no, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, not to say that there aren't, but, after years of them being, I figured we would have, especially as that seemed to be such a big topic nowadays, I think somebody would have came out by now and said, yeah, Rockstar is not all is cracked up to be.
Unless they get a good lot of hush money, and
they print money over there.
And at that point, it's like, well, it's your choice, right? They got out this money. Do you want it or not?
Now sit back down and I need you to code that for me
for 10 more hours.
10 more hours.
The same OY. So just like a couple of little things. Again, it was a very
some
slow
fast hits,
week. Yeah,
quick hits.
Yeah, just a couple. The Stanley Parables Don't Play for 5 Years achievement can finally be unlocked. And that was 2 days ago, so that were made as of the 17th. You could finally have the opportunity to unlock, as far as you haven't played the Stanley Parable for the last 5 years. Which I probably
have 3 more years.
Yeah, 3 more years.
3 more years. I got it very, very.
That is a bizarre achievement and kind of awesome.
That is awesome.
And this one I was debating of if I should bring it up or not, because not because it's less important, but because I don't think about a lot of our people playing Exceed games, particularly the Serang Kagura burst Newell.
What the hell is that?
I'm glad you asked. So, Xseed is the publisher, and there's a series on PlayStation 4 and PC called Serang Kagura Burst Renewal. Status to be released on December. It is, my understanding, is some sort of brawler fighting game. Maybe? I don't know.
You have no idea.
It's kind of like, it's bizarre, but it's high on the hentai level. So evidently,
Okay.
evidently. So here's the thing. It says late last Friday, publisher. That's not this Friday, but the previous one. To make clarification. Publisher Xseed Games announced that Serang Kagura's Burst renewal's December release will be delayed while the company removes some of the sexual content from the PS4 version of the game. They cite the wishes of the platform holder, suggesting that the removal was due to a changing stance in sexual content on Sony's part.
Mm-hmm.
And they continues. The release of Serang Kagura's Burst renewal will be slightly delayed as we this is a silly choice of words. As we remaster to remove the interactive intimacy mode from the PS4 version.
Oh, yes, the intimacy mode.
No, but they remastered to remove, they're remastering the game to remove that version, that portion. So that's what the company wrote in a statement published on Twitter. In a follow-up tweet, they added, "We respect the wishes of the platform holder," which could suggest that Sony requested the changes. Obviously, renewal is a 3D remaster of the side-scrolling beat 'em up for the 3DS. For the 3DS game of the same name. So, so it was available to the 3DS. Look at that. Players fight as scantily clad girl ninjas, as they can also dress them up. Sorry for this. Players fight as scantily clad girl ninjas, and they can also dress up their characters and, in the game's intimacy mode, grope them.
Yes, I believe there are little hands on the screen that allow you to.
Wow.
We'll say tickle them.
Xseeds called the game's new burst mode a voluptuous visual feast in a press release earlier this year. I can't even continue reading this. This is I'm not gonna say disgusting. I got no problem with. I absolutely. Hey, you know what? It's a difference in culture, all right? Yes, that sounds disgusting, and I wouldn't suggest anybody going about those things. That said, let's be real. You're looking at the YouTube. You guys are looking at the YouTube right now.
Right now, you're trying to find out.
Exactly.
Intimacy mode.
Exactly. Earlier this
Engaged.
year, Omega Labyrinth Z, another game based around young-looking anime girls, became the first game to be banned from physical sales in the UK since Manhunt 2 for its touchy mode, among other things. The publisher, P-Cube Games, something like that, eventually canceled the game's Western release altogether after Sony refused to carry it. Sony also dropped the sex manipulation FMV game Super Seducer from the PS4 back in March, just a few days before its release. So anyway, this brings more the question, like, I don't know about these games, honestly, and the only reason I bring this up is because it also brings more the question of censorship and the fact that we all like our PS4s and our Xboxes and stuff like that, but we seem to, for every great thing of exclusivity and this type of games and casual game and stuff like that, we also have to remember that we have a big brother that will let us know which games we adults, for example, because I understand kids are kids and kids probably shouldn't be playing that. But then again, kids shouldn't be playing fucking Call of Duty or even Fortnite for that matter. But that's another thing altogether.
I'll allow Fortnite.
Yeah, I'll allow Fortnite too, but it's still a game about guns and shooting people, you know. But
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
they
saying.
explode into goodies. I mean,
Sure, hey, that's how they train the future soldiers. No,
you
no,
go.
I don't believe that. No, but only to say that it kind of rubs me. It rubs me the wrong
Wow.
way. It rubs me the wrong way for real that we have a console that should, at this point, consoles are not for kids. If you want to get away from the gaming is for kids mentality, then you should treat these consoles as what they are. They are players or system players that you put your games on, and you know whatever it is. If I want to put an X-rated DVD on it and watch porn, it shouldn't block me, right? Well, it doesn't block me for that. Then why is it blocking me? What's the difference? Why is it blocking me from games that have that that content? Fine, they're not gonna sell well. They're trying to market to the minority, to their niche. So why, what's your beef with it? What is it?
you're just not going to see a console maker do it. It's just not going to happen. Not anytime soon.
I think.
I mean, it will eventually happen to me personally, when it comes to the whole digital future. Yeah, sure. At that point, because at that point, the doors are literally blown open at that point.
Yeah.
Well, right now we know console is a closed market. That's their marketplace.
Right.
They're just like, yes, we do allow what we need to allow. Obviously, certain things like this, they're just gonna draw a line on.
Yeah.
So Microsoft's not gonna do it either. You know what I mean?
And honestly,
maybe if they get desperate, at some point, but I sincerely doubt they're not going to fucking do it either. The only place you're going to get that is, on PC, just the way it is.
And honestly, even this is something Apple, does also. And
that's right.
And
don't get me wrong. I don't agree with. Censorship in general is a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I going back to that game. I can't remember what the name of the game is, but the one with the tattoo of the stuff with the Nazi imagery and all that stuff.
Yeah.
When they're like, so I get it. You know what I'm saying? It is a slippery slope. It's like certain things you don't want to have in there, but at some point you also have to have a line, right? There has to be some sort of line. But at the same time, it's still technically their ecosystem. You know what I mean? And they are in control of that ecosystem. So, you know what I mean? What can you do?
Right. Well, that's and unfortunately,
Nintendo's another one. Nintendo's never allowed
Nintendo.
like that. There's no way.
Yeah.
Although we don't know, because Nintendo of Japan may be completely different.
No, actually, I heard they're like equally. They allow some other things, but again, that's because different of culture. But yeah, no, that's right. You go to PC because you don't have to deal with that, with that, and even the censor ones will have a nudity patch if you're so interested.
Correct. Exactly.
But in all seriousness, I was thinking more of like, well, I wish we could consider this consoles as DVD players, as we could consider those type of streaming services, entertainment systems. But in reality, they are,
because you're still paying for the license of the game, and the game still technically belongs to them. So that's just what it comes down to. So
exactly.
it's their closed market. So it's unfortunate.
Exactly.
But
go on PC for your nudies.
No hentai for you PlayStation guys.
No. Or Xbox.
Well, we don't know. They didn't say no.
Don't encourage them.
And we're back, guys.
Jesus.
And we're going to go into our hot topic of the week.
Hot topic of the week.
Speaking of spooky.
Yes, that sounded very spooky.
There was. Our hot topic, guys, is the evolution of horror films. And I understand that my fellow cohort here is not well versed in the horror films, believe it or not.
I'm not well versed in films, period.
So please take that when you watch it happen. Just remember.
Oh no, that is BS.
Just remember the source.
Even the most humble neophyte could recognize cat shit. And this is what it happened was.
Sure.
It was literally
Tell
cat
your story
shit.
walking. Come back to us when you watch Pulp Fiction, sir.
Oh, you know what? Now you're being mean.
I know.
I'm gonna edit the whole portion here.
I actually feel bad. I take all that back.
Yeah,
he knows what he's doing.
Roberto's not gonna. So
No, he's not. Going.
Thank you.
He's holding that.
Thank you so much.
No matter what.
You know, he tells it like he sees it.
I know. He hasn't said it in a while, but I have a feeling he's winding up, my friend.
Oh, we're in for a comeback of biblical proportions.
Yes, I agree. So, sir, the point of this, the point of this is we're coming up to Halloween.
Yeah.
And Halloween, obviously, big time for scary movies. And I personally love scary movies. You know what I mean? And I don't get to see as many now as I used to because my wife is not she doesn't care for scary movies. She would, I think, honestly, if she could just watch comedies, she'd be a happy woman.
Hey, I'm down there.
Comedies and dramas.
I'll sit down. We'll watch some cool comedies because I like comedies. I like to feel good about on my movie watching. Also, I like to be entertained.
I am too. I find horror entertaining.
Yes.
How horrific! I know.
How horrific!
Indeed,
it's horrendous.
Horror movies though has a change a lot throughout the years. I don't know if obviously we were having this little discussion off air, but I know a lot of you remember the Nightmare on Elm Streets, the Friday the 13th, the Halloweens.
Your typical slasher.
Your typical slasher, your typical horror, your typical all that stuff. After a while, it was a lot of rinse and repeat. You know what I mean?
I can't equate.
A lot of rinse and repeats.
I can't equate slasher with horror because what was happening was scary, but do you know that's what it was? There's scary movies and then there's horror movies, and I think a lot of people.
They all fall under horror, though. Yeah.
Well, yes, I know,
it's
but
all-encompassing.
I think
genre.
I think that's the problem because you can have a scary movie that is not horrific, like it, like you described it. Not horrific for a lot of people. I realize some people are gonna scare the living crap out of it.
It's still a horror movie. There are horrific moments. I personally just didn't find it scary. Because I have seen other horrific things.
A movie like the Freddy, like Nightmare on Elm Street, for example, like I wouldn't consider that horror. Even though they might die in horrific ways, but at least the later ones, they were kind of like just a celebration of violence.
I think the later ones were more silly and comedic.
Exactly.
Definitely
like Chucky.
But see, the first Chucky, first Child's Play, because it wasn't Chucky, it was called Child's Play. Was really good. It had a well thought out story, even though of all the things to put your spirit into, a doll was kind of the silliest, but he had no choice. If you saw the movie, he had no choice. But anyway, the point is, the first Child's Play was scary. The first Nightmare on Elm Street was scary. The original ones that launched it all, Halloween, is scary. The problem is that it became this, again, lather, rinse, and repeat, lather, rinse, and repeat. Before you know it, you're on part 6. It's no longer scary. It's actually more funny. And now you're actually watching Nightmare on Elm Street to see, let's see the elaborate ways that they can kill somebody.
Exactly.
Same thing that happened with Saw. You know what I mean? First Saw, I think, was actually really good. It was well done. I didn't see any of that happening, and I thought it was really good. And then what happened? It just continued to become, we gotta now make it bigger and better and badder. You know what I mean? And then that's unfortunate. That's just sequelitis right there. No matter what.
That operates on any type of movie.
Yeah, this is true. However, with some of these newer movies, newer horror movies, they kind of are breaking out of the box, and I really wanted to shine light on them since we are here, and it's the season of Halloween, Old Hallows Eve. And we actually have seen one. So the new look, and it's not new, guys. It's called new because it's happening more and more often. It's smart horror or elevated horror. It's just basically not your typical horror movie. And yes, I do equate It Follows as one of them, but also it that we also spoke about. Also, another movie we spoke recently about, A Quiet Place.
A Quiet
which
Place
is also a well-designed, well-thought-out element. Even though, again, same thing. You don't really know where the creature is coming from, how they got here. Besides the point. The point is the story is well-crafted, and I think honestly that's definitely one of the top horror films of the recent 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a very good one. One you haven't seen, which I definitely. I completely highly recommend, and not in the same vein.
I'm not going to listen to you to recommend any more horror movies.
I am not in the same vein of It Follows, and I think your wife would agree with me on this, and that is Get Out.
Oh, yeah. No, Get Out. Yes. I've been... Dude,
you
that
have
movie...
to see this movie, sir.
It does not want to be watched. Every time I try to watch it, something happens. I think that's scary. There's always something that does not allow me to watch Get Out. And... because now there's a movie that actually plays with your expectations, that evidently is something, something else.
That movie
from
completely. Honestly, if you see the trailer, you can watch the trailer.
You can watch
the trailer. You'd walk around going, you don't want to watch it, but you don't want to watch it for a different reason. It feels like, ooh, this is going to be a racially tense movie. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to be kind of you got to have the right mindset for it.
Right.
Once you watch it, you go, whoa. And yes, it's, some tension in there, but it is not what it's expected to be. And it is so...
This is what I mean. This is a good example of... This is a movie that I'm sure if I watch, I would enjoy. Somebody stop me if the movie doesn't have an end, please. I don't want to waste 2 hours. But it does sound like an interesting premise that go places, that have something interesting, that have something interesting happen. So I gotta ask you, a movie like let's go back to the classic. A movie like Alien.
The first one.
Yes.
So
Alien, horror movie, sci-fi movie,
sci-fi horror.
Sci-fi horror.
Also would fall into the category, I think, of smart horror, because there are elements in it. You saw it, I assume you saw it.
Of course.
So there are elements that require, you need to know what's going on. It's not just, okay, who's the next person that's going to get killed? It's about, whoa.
Kind of a little bit of it is
not the first one, maybe the second one.
No. The second one to me was not horror at all. The second one is Aliens was an action flick.
Well, that was Cameron James Cameron.
Yeah, James Cameron. Sorry, Cameron Diaz.
You know what's funny? I was gonna say the same thing.
I know.
But I stopped myself.
You almost you saved yourself.
James Cameron.
James Cameron.
Yeah.
No. Alien. It was to me, the way I saw Alien was the same way that I saw a Freddy or a Jason. It's like this particular being is killing the people on, in this case, in the Nostromo's. I was gonna say on the Ishimura from Dead Space on the Nostromo's, and that was. Like, you didn't have to really think that much. Like, I don't think, to me, smart horror will have a very interesting reveal. And when I say reveal, I don't mean like, it reveals the bad guy. It could be a reveal of why things are happening, or who created this, or something clever, or something.
The Sixth Sense is a perfect example of smart
wonderful
horror.
Oh my God, yes.
It's a perfect example of that.
Yes. That's.
Did you ever see Seven?
Yes, I saw Seven.
Seven would be a perfect example.
And I'll give you that. Yes, that will be a perfect example. I personally did not like Seven, but it was for different reasons. But I do.
Also slasher. It's a slasher type of flick.
I do recognize that it is a good movie.
Correct.
And I don't want to know what's in the box. No.
No one does.
So to me, those are the differentiators of smart horror, where there is this malignant, it's evil, and it doesn't have to end on a happily ever after. But in order to be horror, it has to be something horrific.
It has to be horrific. It doesn't have to be ghost or
spectral. I'm not saying. It doesn't have to be that. It could be, honestly, it could be just.
And let me tell you, Seven has horrific ass moments.
Seven, yeah,
Seven, yeah.
yeah. But it could be. I mean, it could be anything. You can make anything that suddenly feels very uncomfortable and very weird and very that you can make that the horrific and therefore be scared of it.
Correct.
And be horrified of it.
But more and more, this seems to be happening, and I think one, I like it. I think this is obviously. It appears that Hollywood is obviously very interested in it because they make money from it. They tend to be lower budgets and they make a lot of money out of it. You know what I mean? But I think it definitely is happening more and more, and I actually enjoy some of these, and I'm glad that I can share some of these with you, even though you fight me on them no matter what. But it's okay. I love the fight, though.
I don't fight. There's only one that you have failed miserably. Everything else have been top notch.
Okay.
But because it's when I go back to it, I did not find any sense. Nothing was smart on this on this particular on It Follows that I can say. I did not expect. Oh wow, that's a clever way of wrapping this up. Or hey, let's wrap this up, because he doesn't even have that. But there are other movies like you just very well described. The Sixth Sense. Man, I was unfortunately spoiled on that movie.
That's so bad.
That movie would have fucked my mind if I would have seen
watch
it.
it though.
I know that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm just saying reviews like that. And again, I say reveal as in revealing who the bad guy is, kind of like Scooby-Doo style. I don't mean that. I want to know something interesting, something that I don't already know that the movie has been giving me the whole time. Like with It Follows, it gave me, I already knew what was going on, and they just kept hammering on the same thing. And I'm like, I know, I'm ready for this is the reason, or how do we get rid of it? Or if we cannot get rid of it, this is why, or something. Not just giving me, and it continue following until it follows into the next sequel.
God, I hope not.
Yeah. Just if we're gonna put it the title of Smart, and we're gonna make the differentiator of, it's not a movie about this thing that just kills people for the sake of it, and the other people are just running, and let me run to the darkest place also, because I'm so scared. I'm going to run to the darkest place and the most dangerous place, or if I hear a noise in the room, I'm going to go towards the room. If we're going to call it smart horror, as in what I understand it is the movie Hereditary.
Yes,
Hereditary.
One, yeah. Very
that's a long movie, and it has a lot of downtime also. But
you saw it?
No, this is one that I've only came to because I'm almost afraid of watching it, because the more I read about it, the more I read about it, the more
I'll watch it for you, and I will let you know.
Wait, is it available?
I don't know. At some point, it's going to.
I was going to say we should watch it.
Oh, okay.
We should be down.
Okay.
No, I mean I don't mean like together in a room like ooh, hold me. This is too scary. No, I mean like discuss it. Watch it at one point in time, because I do. But
we can definitely do that. We can actually do that, and then a quick little
and a little blur on it.
Yeah.
Because that's where all the reviews were going. It's like, yes, it does have a lot of downtime, a lot of
which is necessary. You have to have the downtime, so when those non-downtimes happen,
yes,
you're like, oh, you know what I mean? It's
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. The problem is, It Follows never gave me the
All right, we're moving on from It Follows.
It kept me on the
Let
downtime.
it go. You just didn't get it.
No, there's nothing to get, and I still see.
So, a couple other films that I actually did check out that are also following this nice, well thought out horror tropes, not tropes, but horror elements. Let the Right One In, which is actually a remake of the movie called Let Me In, so basically what this is,
I heard of Let Me In. I haven't heard of Let the Right One In.
It's the same movie. One is the original foreign version, and the Let Me In is the American version. Right. Let Me In stars. Oh my God, I can't remember her name now, but it doesn't matter. The point is that she is. He doesn't know this at first, but she is a vampire, and she's a young girl. And there's this young boy who befriends her, and they live I want to say in Russia or something like that. It's kind of that. So it's snowing all the time and all that, and they befriend each other. And there's this guy who appears to be her father, but maybe more of her caretaker. And anyway, it's about the relationship between this boy who's just a regular boy and this girl who clearly has vampire,
elements.
It's really well done. Even the American remake, I would easily recommend them both. Both have good, strong moments, well done, horrific moments as well. But yeah,
gore.
Huh?
Does that have gore?
Maybe it's maybe one of those situations where you see like an arm or something like that. Just kind of that's not really gore. It's
No.
But overall, yeah, it's very, that one's very good.
It's I equate almost, or maybe not equate, but it's equally like distasteful. Gore just for the sake of it.
Yeah, that's the worst.
And
it's cheap.
Yeah, it's exactly
it's cheap,
just like also jump scares.
Oh yeah, it's very cheap.
Having intention, yes, but if your idea of scaring is just the jump scare, then that I feel like that loses so much. Again, it's going to the easiest, most basic, most cheap way
of trying to scare somebody.
Trying to scare, yeah.
That's Resident Evil 1, guys.
I know. That's right.
The birds breaking through the windows. It's like,
the Jill sandwich.
The Jill sandwich, yes. Another one that I watched, which was made by, I think it was an Australian film by Jennifer Kent. It's called The Babadook, and I've mentioned this before.
You mentioned The Babadook,
and you didn't know what the hell I was talking about.
No.
You were like, Gesundheit. No, so The Babadook is essentially, I should really check out this trailer, but it's also sort of a haunting film in the sense that you can almost not tell if it's a mom and a child. There's no father in the picture. She's trying to raise his kid. He's clearly got problems, but you don't know if it's because he has actual problems or if or he's being haunted by a specific spirit, which is called the Babadook. And it's really good. It's another one of those. It has downtimes, but when it has those, like, it actually has pretty scary moments. I'm not gonna lie.
Does it have an ending?
It. Well, there's credits. I mean,
that says everything.
I'm not going to say anything. And then the last one I wanted to bring up was The Witch. And I brought up The Witch before.
Yeah,
yes.
My wife watched The Witch.
And what did she think?
I think she liked it.
She did like it? Okay.
Yeah. And I keep making of course, I should
That's
explain.
a lot of downtime there, too, by the way.
Yes.
Because
I understand that
because it's a lot of in their pastures. Because it takes place, God, it like really, really beautiful. It was like the first colonials that came to America, that's basically the time period. So you're talking about like the pilgrims, you know what I mean? And so that's and it's just the mom, the mom, father, and 3 kids, you know what I mean? And they're basically being tormented by a witch from the forest, you know what I mean? So I mean, it sounds very simple, but also very fable-like.
Yeah.
But let me tell you,
the witch in the forest.
I will never get the sound of what is supposed to be the devil that comes out of that goat, dude. It is a voice that I will never get out of my head.
Fuck that. Wow.
It is.
Is this worse than?
That's the one I told you. Do you want to live deliciously?
Oh yeah, something like that.
yeah. I was just like, whoa.
What the hell? First of all, what the hell does that mean? Second of all, nope, never mind. I don't want to know what that means.
Yeah. So it is. That's what I'm talking about. Those type of things. I dig because I haven't, like I'm saying, I've seen so many horror films, you know what I mean, or films in general, that at some point I need something new. I need something that's from left field. I need something that's not your norm. And when it comes to scares, watching horror movies, I need something that I haven't heard before.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the amount of work they put on for that particular voice, which is literally, this is not even a joke, is probably 2 minutes of the film. Okay.
Wow.
Easily puts me in an uneasy, like tense mood because just like, holy shit balls, it's like, man, this is.
Should I YouTube it?
I mean, you can, but you got to play it high. You got to, you got to feel it because that's how I watch fucking movies. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch this shit low. I want to hear every bang, click, everything. You know what I mean? And that particular scene was really quiet, and it was funny because I'm kind of spoiling a little bit here, but she basically, the voice wasn't expected. Like she almost didn't even believe that it was, you have to see the movie what happened, but when it suddenly happens, you're like, whoa, and it was just it was a really eerie voice. But that's what I'm talking about. When I was talking about these horror films, I'm glad that we're getting to that point. And the newest one, well, not the newest one, but the latest one that I want to check out is the new Halloween, which I'm hearing excellent things about. So I think we should plan a moment to go.
I think we should go. Yeah,
I think so. What do you think?
I'll be down with that. Yeah.
Okay. I think we're going to do that. Before Halloween. Do you know that was like one of the first things I learned? I think everybody did, but one of the first things I learned how to play on the piano.
I know. Did you see what's his name? John
Cena.
No, not John Cena. Oh my God! I think he was. Oh fuck.
Travolta.
No, it was the
Kravitz.
Forget it. It was a John. All right. No. He was playing the theme of that on the Nintendo Labo. I posted that
On the Nintendo Labo?
on the Nintendo Labo. He was
the little piano for the Nintendo Labo.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
He was trying to play. I'm trying to find what his name is on the group, but it was hilarious. Keep talking. I'll find it. Oh, here it is. John Carpenter.
Oh, Carpenters.
Carpenter.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, dude, John Carpenter's movies are another one.
Yes.
Did you ever see The Thing? Oh, we can't hear anything, sir. You need to turn that up. Turn up the volume.
I need to turn this off.
He's playing this on Labo, guys, for the record.
Yes.
And this is the most important musical moment of my life, where I attempt to play Nintendo Labo.
No, that's not what it sounds like. By the way, John Carpenter's
All
old.
right, the Halloween theme. Stop.
Oh.
How do we stop it? I'll do that. I'll push it. Go away. I have no idea what this part is.
Wow.
Frankly, this thing sucks.
Nice.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Wow.
Oh, he's getting there. Yeah, he's getting there.
This thing is I'm sorry.
It's like he literally gives the fuck this shit, I'm out.
This thing is fuck. I'm sorry. This thing is fuck.
That is great.
That's the opinion of John Carpenter.
John Carpenter on Labo.
Thank you for coming, sir. You honor us with your presence.
Yes, absolutely.
Now get the
Please.
fuck out of my room.
Yes, get the hell out. All right, guys. Well, any final thoughts, sir, on the evolution of horror?
Well, I have never, I've never been and I think this just comes from not watching too many movies to begin with, but have been a big follower of horror movies just because the idea of horror movies to me was there was only one smart horror movie, The Exorcist, and then there was just a bunch of torture porn, which was completely,
Torture porn
unappealing
was
to me.
big in the aughts.
Yeah.
Right? Aughts, 2000s, that's what they call aughts, yeah. It was very big. And Hostel was big. You still have a few. The Human Centipede.
Oh yeah,
That's just freaking ridiculous.
yeah, exactly. And Disturbance as
They're just disgusted the whole
they're
time.
not. Yeah, it's not what. Again, it needs to be. It needs to have a little bit more than just the disturbing imagery. Like, hey, this is a cool or interesting explanation of the past or how it came to be, of that whatever. It scared me too. My wife just walked into the room.
This is what happened when you start talking about horror movies.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what happens. Wing, 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 wing. What was that?
Psycho?
Psycho, yeah. Yeah, we haven't talked about, Psycho.
Have you seen Psycho?
No. I've read.
Hence the reason.
But, what I was going to, so that's the reason that I kind of put them aside and never, to be honest, one of my the first comeback in a while for a movie to me was actually the movie It, because again I was not too attracted to, like, I kept hearing what's that movie you keep telling me that is very very scary, The Conjuring, or Ring. Like, I have a big problem.
Ring.
I have a
Ring is
big
good.
problem with this. Is the thing that scares me the most. All right, you ready? I told you, but maybe not the real other. Demon children. Anything that is like possessed children or demon children or just like, deformed looking babies walking to you. That's why the middle of Dead Space 2 freaked me the hell out. And that's a game. And I the moment that you're like running to that like nursery on that spaceship and you're hearing the nursery music and you're seeing that freaky deformed babies like running after you, it's like, oh hell no. It's like, I can only play one part of this. So would you imagine how it'd be with the movie? That's why even The Exorcist, which I saw a while back, but I always kept the imagery, or movies like Damien also.
The Omen.
The Omen, yeah. Those movies were really disturbing to me, but I still consider them a smart horror versus something, even though they're old, versus something like
It Follows.
Scream. It goes without saying.
Yeah.
If Follows was nothing that you should be mentioning.
What
here.
was the last like scary movie that you saw? Like in a theater or even at home? The last one that you saw that you're like, holy shit, this really messed me up.
Shoot. Oh man.
While you think about it, I can tell you mine.
Okay, yeah, please, because I don't remember if I.
There was this movie. It's a remake of House on the Haunted Hill.
House on the Haunted Hill.
Okay. So if you don't know House on the Haunted Hill, House on the Haunted Hill was this thing where they basically locked these people in an asylum, and whoever survived the night would win $1 million. And you had Jeffrey Rush was playing in it. It was a bunch of actors, whatever, but there were some just really, really well done freakies. First off, one of the things I can't stand in scary movies is the stuff that moves not human like when it's like
I know
it messes me
I know
up.
someone else
I still
also
watch it because I still but it is
they do not like when it's like a human form but it's like contorted in like unnatural ways,
and it moves,
or it moves really
like,
fast,
almost crab-like or something. It's like
or they will move their head really fast, or
there's
something
a scene
like that.
in House on the Haunted Hill where it's an asylum, and there's one girl, she's a blonde girl, and of course she's exploring because that's normal.
Yeah.
Why not? She has this, those the little video cameras with the little viewfinder.
Yeah.
So she goes down into the depths of this asylum, and she's kind of just recording, going, "Oh man, look at this craziness," and she goes into this one room where it's clearly like an operating room, but it was empty. But when she pans her camera over to the area in the viewfinder, you see an operation happening. A doctor, a nurse, and someone on the table screaming because they're still awake, being cut open and all this stuff. But she looks around the camera, she sees nothing. She looks back at the viewfinder, she's like, what the hell? And then, of course, the moment that'll freak you out is just they stop what they're doing and just kind of turn and look your way.
Hell no.
So that's the type of stuff I'm talking about.
Oh man, no. See, I haven't had an experience like that scary in.
By the way, I walked home from the theater. This is back in the Bronx, and it was just nighttime. Whatever, dude. I was walking at I was like, I gotta go home.
It was faster than crap, man.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my god.
See, no, I see. I'm so sad because I can't relate to something like that, like that of a movie that I'll be scared. Or maybe if I have, I don't remember. I will always remember.
Blocked it out.
I blocked it out. Yeah, I will always just remember the game Condemn.
Yeah,
where you're in this like dilapidated mall and you're hearing. And I think I mentioned it. You hear Christmas music as if this mall was still, But the Christmas music, sometimes it deforms a little bit, like it goes, and then there's this mannequin that you look, and you don't think anything of it, and then you look the other way, and then when you look back, because you have to turn back, the mannequin is like freaking right in front of your face, and that freaked me the hell out. And then as I try to run and turn the other way, there's another mannequin, and then as I pan around, I'm surrounded by these freaking mannequins, and I shit my pants, bro. That was the scariest thing I have ever experienced in a game. Actually, in this case, not a movie that I could say, but
all right. I just wanted to know if you had a
I
moment
probably
like that.
has. Just I'm blanking out right now, and I mean the most recent movie that I saw that was that was scary, but it was actually funny. Was it?
No.
And I enjoyed
Quiet
that
Place.
quite a bit.
You weren't on edge on the Quiet
I
Place?
did like Quiet Place. Was he? Quiet.
I know it wasn't scary.
It wasn't
but
scary that level.
Had,
it was
had me on
unnerving.
edge.
It does.
So-
It does. And again, there is that movie. I just can't remember what
That's
it
all
was.
right.
Yeah, it's
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll bring it. Remember, this is part 1, guys.
yes.
All right, guys.
Police
Well,
Academy.
that brings us to the end of an awesome episode 130. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, please go to goodgame.tech, join the conversation there, and of course, like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everybody. This is Mad Dog signing off for this week. Mr. Santos.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Well done, sir. Well done. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
GG!